What's up? What's up? What's up? And thank you for joining us. Welcome to another episode of Soul Flow Conversations. I am your host, Dedrick the Cook Man. My co-host Jessica Fields. She will be here shortly. On the stage with me tonight, right now, is none other than Mr. Maurice. Yes,
What's going
indeed.
on? What's going on?
Yes, indeed. So tonight we're going to be discussing how media and the music industry has affected Black America and whatnot, and we're just going to be discussing certain aspects of it, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to say that we all have seen the evolution of the music industry, and that's no different from people from the 70s seeing music change to the 80s and to the 90s to the 2000s. Music is always ever evolving, so changes are inevitable. So that part of it we understand. We know that music is going to change, and as Maurice had said from last week, because we were picking up this part of the episode from last week, kind of segueing into this week. As he said, and he can speak for himself, but we had our own booty music. You know what I'm saying? We had our own pop it music. You know what I'm saying? We had our own thing. Don't get it, get it. You know. So yeah, so we had our so we had our own, and just for you guys who are just tuning in, you guys have noticed the dance that Maurice was doing. That's our old head version of the chair get it dance. That's the yeah, what I'm saying? That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all didn't know what he wasn't having a seizure and nothing, like that was actually what we do. You know what I'm saying? When we ain't standing up, we work the chair,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's how that works. Y'all and ladies, don't be laughing because y'all know that y'all do something similar. Y'all be looking back at it in the chair and stuff. You come on now. It's
There
still
was,
there. What you
there was
looking
doing,
back for? It's
there was doing
still
all
there.
this. It was doing this. That's what it's doing. This. Yeah. I remember that move.
So basically, yes, we had our own little jams that wasn't for public consumption all the time. For they wasn't PC. Yeah, we had that. Every generation had that. You know what I'm saying? When you go back to I be stroking. That's what I be doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they had that stuff. They had a whole lot of other stuff going on, and they were quite explicit. But when as it pertains to Black America and Black society, we've seen music from girl bands affect how women treat men. No Scrubs, that's one of them. An independent woman, that's another. We're not just talking about pop it, lock it type of stuff. We talking about the content of music. And then it goes from that side of things to where the music, you don't really quite understand the words, and you kind of wonder if there's actually a word. Like what was the song?
Please don't do
You
that,
know,
man. Ever again.
right.
Yeah,
So
don't do
so so you got so you got those ones that the lifestyle. Bro, listen, bro. I don't. That song was absolutely hilarious to me. I'm sorry, it just was because it just was. Now the rhythm of the song was pretty cool. You
that.
know what I'm
No,
saying?
it's not. No, it's not. No.
The rhythm, the basic music itself
I
wasn't
heard.
bad.
I heard you the first time.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
basic music
No,
wasn't bad.
no, it's not. It's
It,
not good.
it, it, it
It's
wasn't
very
bad.
bad.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it was something that okay, it's okay. But then you add the music, the actual lyrics. Don't nobody know what he just said. And the crazy part of it, these kids actually know what they said. Like, I don't know what mechanism that they come with that they understand what the devil he's saying. I'm like, dude, speak English. Like mumble rap. I'm just like, dude, that's not even rap, bro. That's just.
They're high. Let's get it real. Let's understand. They're all on Xanax, and they're high, and that's why they rapping that way. Like their face is numb, and that's why the words are coming out. You know, we had a different level of high back when we was kids. The high that they was doing during this time it don't make sense. It don't make sense.
Yeah. And then I'm not even gonna. I am gonna. The females. Yeah, we had Foxy Brown. Yeah, we had
Lil
Kim when she looked like Lil Kim. You know, we had like we had those chicks. We had what's the chick's name? My Neck, My Back. Okay, I get it. But now
there was Tweet.
Yeah,
Tweet got a little there. Yeah.
So, but now you got females talking about their booty hole brown, and I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? Like, and the more ratchet it is, the more the kids love it. And you know, I'm sitting here scratching my. I'm like, well, dang, y'all just okay. So it's like they've been desensitized to the point to where nothing has any kind of shock value anymore. Nothing whatsoever. And it's just like, wow. And then they're playing this music like at a family get together, like it's nothing. Like, bruh, that's not even censored. What are you doing? There's kids running around here.
That's Kia. Is it Kia or Kaya that was saying My Neck, My Back?
I think so. Something like that.
I can't pronounce the name.
But but and then all of us understand and know when gangster rap was heavy. And when all that came out, you know, you had, you know, NWA with F the Police and all the things that they talked about as far as their upbringing and different things like that. And I was looking at this, and you guys can look it up and listen to the whole episode, not episode, but the whole clip about Crazy Bone reading reading about a secret meeting that the industry powers that be got together, and he was and that particular man was a part of it. Him and some of his colleagues were a part of it. And this was back in 1991, because that is around the time a lot of music changed right after that. And this was around about 1991. And the label, the if you want to find it on YouTube, it's Crazy Bone, the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. And he was talking about, and I'm going to play a little bit of it, but before you hear this little bit that I'm going to let you hear, they were basically talking about how the prison industrial system was tied into the rap music consumption, and how the mindsets of young black men, and in some cases young black women, but mostly young black men, were going to be changed by the rap that was going to be released, and how, because of the change of mindset of these black men, it was going to facilitate more police presence, more arrest, and more filling of the prison system. And the more bodies that the prison system got in it, the more incentives that the government was going to pay the prisons. And I think people have to really understand that this was a real thing that happened. This wasn't something that everybody just all of a sudden decided they was just going to be gangster rap and kill this, kill that. You know, this was a real meeting. This was something that really happened. And the guy was one of the guy's colleagues kind of blurted out, "Are y'all effing serious? Like, what are y'all? What are you guys doing? Are y'all serious here? And basically, they got escorted out of the building. And the one guy one of their contacts that was facilitating the meeting, he came running outside and he told him, I said, remember, y'all signed an NDA. Y'all can't disclose what was discussed here. And that person who submitted this letter exposing the music industry, he had since left. He left the music industry, and I think he started working in film or something like that. But he ultimately left the music industry and whatnot because he just couldn't hold it anymore because of the implications that came with. Because right before he left the site, the friend or the associate, I guess you want to call him at that point, told him, he said, it's out of my hands. There's nothing else I can do about it. And this is underway. This is going to happen. Because not only were they going to incentivize prisons, they were making these prisons, whatever the ticker was or whatever, they'd be able to invest in the prison system. So if you're able to invest in something, don't you wish for its success? You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. Everything is tied into each other. And the music itself changes because if you got too much popular, positive music, it changes people's minds. It changes the motivations. It changes a whole lot. And if it changes that much things, you can give strength to a people. You can give hope to a people. And hope is a powerful thing. You know what I'm saying? So when you have something like that and you take hope away and then now you substitute it with violence, you substitute it with disrespecting women, you substitute it with all that stuff, you get a whole different outcome and whatnot. And when I say women, I'm talking about Black women in particular. When you take a people and their minds, if their bodies can be strong as all outdoors, but when you take their mind and you toy with their minds, you weaken a whole populace of people. Especially when you do it through music, because we are people who love music. We love dance. We love entertainment. So when you do it through those channels, you get a result that is not good for that race of people and whatnot. So let me shut up for right now, and I'm gonna let Maurice respond to what I said, and then whatever else he want to add to the subject matter itself.
I mean, I don't got much more to add. You kind of went through a lot of things, and for the most part, I agree with it. So I got nothing to say contrary to what you've said.
Until Jessica get here.
Yeah, I mean, fun to fight with, man. Just no fun to fight. There's a certain little bit of thrill in the
right.
No, for real. But as far as like the music industry and the fact that like it's intentional, but you know what? Like my stance on it too is it can be as intentional as it wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has agency.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has agency. So I mean, I've never been a proponent of the devil made me do it.
Right.
Whenever people say the devil made me do it in any situation, it makes it very hard for me to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Because we already know the devil's after your life. We already know it. We've named the devil. We've described the devil. He's, we're aware of his presence. We know what he's capable of. So you don't get to say the devil made me do it.
Right.
So yeah, they're after you.
Mm-hmm.
Big surprise. It's going to be a fight. Big surprise.
Yeah.
When you start losing, saying, "Oh, I'm a victim. He's the oppressor. He's the oppressor." We knew this already. The game was set up that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like these are self-inflicted wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the weapon is in your own hand, and there's got to get to us. We have to get to a certain point that you got to at least let them commit the attack.
Yep.
Instead of just handing you a knife and you start attacking yourself. That's wild. That's the ultimate place you got to look at it. But I mean, because like you were saying earlier on, man, there was nothing. There's nothing new. I mean, we grew up in the '90s,
Right.
when all this started. But this type of music, even though it wasn't this intentional, this type of music was always around. It was always type of degenerate music that kind of, encouraged poor behavior one way or another. Yeah, it got put on steroids, but it was always around. It was always there.
Yep. And so and again, before we get all this pushback about, oh well, y'all music was this, that, and the third. Well, I'm not fighting against that. We did have some crazy music. We did. However, with a lot of the things that we see today, there is good music out there. Yes, there is absolutely good music out there.
Hold on. Most of it stopped in 2010. Like anything after 2010.
Well, you talking about the good music?
Yeah. 2010 as the cutoff. Anything after 2010, I think it was right around 2010. I started hearing this stupid song, Black and Yellow, and that's why I turned off the radio. And I vowed never to turn it on again.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, I give up on y'all.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just one of those things that the element. My thing is when you have a whole industry or a whole organization pushing for the degradation, and they incentivize the degradation of a people. You don't see that in country music. You don't see that in any other type of music except hip hop. And that's just my personal opinion, and from what I've noticed, and I can't speak on behalf of Asian and all this other stuff because they even at their craziest, they seem to always have a particular code. They don't go too off the deep end. From what I know is now, I could stand corrected.
It's not completely true.
That's why I said I could stand corrected because I'm not in that culture. But
like country music, it kind of encourages certain degenerate behavior, but it's more around drinking and that type of behavior. Like they tend to have certain niches, but country music tends to be around, drinking and extramarital affairs. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a lot of their themes are there. That's where it's focused. Whereas in rock, like, if you want to listen to like alternative or like hardcore rock, then most of that focus is just straight like violence and destruction. It's pretty anarchic. So every genre has I mean, it's no shock that, the majority of school shooters are white. It's not like people like to ignore that. Yes, the majority of black people are hoodlums and gangbangers, right? But the majority of white people, they're school shooters and serial killers. Let's not ignore that fact. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Jess.
Hey, I'll get on camera in a minute. I'm combing I still ain't found my ducks. It's a hard knock life over here right now.
Well, what you do is you turn on Daffy Duck, right? Or or something to that matter, and then you just let them go ahead and hear their people on the TV, and they're gonna come. They're gonna if you quack them, they will come.
No. That's not gonna work. What you gotta do? No. What you gotta do is you gotta say it's rabbit season, and it's gonna come back. It's gonna say duck season.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta just yell it out. It's rabbit season. That's what you gotta say.
Lord, but they definitely ain't gonna come in. They ain't coming because they're like, I don't know if she got a gun. I don't know.
The chicken's the only one with some damn sense. They came in the garage and sat on the chair.
Yeah, because they know who feeds them. They got sense.
Well, it's never chicken season until it's chicken season. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Oh. So hello everybody. Lord have mercy.
Yes, indeed. So, for a brief recap, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but a brief recap. I was talking about I was telling people that if they want to go to the Crazy Bone, the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. That happened in 1991. They can go and check it out on YouTube. I'm going to show a small clip since you're here, and this was after they had been discussing some of the particulars in the meeting, and they had been kicked out at this point because one of the guy's colleagues was like, hey, are y'all effing serious? Like, are y'all serious? Like, what are y'all trying to do? So the guy was like, look, this is happening, and they got kicked out for their pushback on it. But we were talking about the fact that throughout music, every genre has had their risque music. Every genre has had their explicit music and stuff like that. And so we're not saying that it doesn't exist in other genre. The 70s, 80s, 90s. Everybody has had their thing. We've had our Uncle Luke and 69 Boys, and we had all those things. My neck, my back. We Lil Kim. Foxy Brown. We had our people. However, when I was talking about the music industry in itself, it goes well beyond just risque music because that's always been around. However, when we're looking at the content of said music, I was referring back to this video that we'll soon see a clip of. We're talking about back in 91 because gangster rap happened right after that. And so the whole content was that was allowed or changed happened, and then within this meeting they expressed that the prison system, the prison industrial system, was going to be connected to rap music because rap music was going to fuel the delinquency and fuel crime. It was going to fuel a certain mentality, and because it fueled a certain mentality, and because it was going to start filling prisons more than it had been ever before, the prisons were going to be incentivized, so they were going to get more money for their prisons and stuff like that, and whatnot. They were going to get more money, and also they would have the opportunity of investing in said prisons, and whatnot. So just imagine an investment that you're going to put your money in. Any investment any of us put our money in, we expect it to grow. So we want the prison system to do well, right? So if that's going to be the case, how bad do you think they're going to allow the music to get? You know what I'm saying? They're going to allow the music to get as bad as they could possibly get. So, so in this particular clip up to this point, they were like, "Why? I had no idea you was involved in something like this." And the guy was like, "Look, it's out of my hands. It's where it's going. Is what's done is done. And remember, you signed the NDA." Because the guy and those colleagues stayed because they were curious. They heard a little bit and they was like, wait, what? I don't think. And some people walked out before they began the meeting. At the very beginning of the meeting, when certain information was said about what the meeting would be about. And some people just went on ahead and walked out. They was like, I can't be here for this. I can't support this. But they were curious and they said, you know what? I'm curious. So they handed in their NDAs. And whatnot. But after that particular point, somebody, exclaimed, what the F is this? This is not right. And they were escorted out of the building. But and that's what led to this particular point and stuff like that. So it's just been that particular meeting kind of set off a domino effect of how music changed the content and stuff like that. We were sitting here talking about how some music we don't even understand the words, you know, and we just it's weird, you know. But and then you got these young ladies talking about my booty hole brown and all this other stuff. I'm just like some stuff, and so it's like the kids are desensitized now. They're desensitized to a point to where they'll play some of this music aloud in front of adults as if it's nothing. Like we never ever we had our booty music, but we weren't about to sit there and crank it in front of grandma. We weren't about to crank it in front of mom and stuff like we weren't doing that. We'll do it someplace else, but nah.
I know that's right. Like you said, we all had our music, but it has gotten worse. And I remember that instance. I remember I read the whole report that the guy, I guess we can call him a whistleblower, so per se, in you know, where he was telling people how there were some prominent people in there who were directly affiliated with prisons. And that's, you know, the reason why they wanted to push the thug mantra and the ghetto ratchet mantra is because when we follow suit, if that's what we're listening, if that's what we're consuming, then we're likely going to end up following a path that could lead us to the prisons, right? And but the part that I remember is that before that, we had people like Boogie Down Productions talking about self-destruction. We had Queen Latifah talking about UNITY. You know, we had fun music. We had music that united us, and they hated to see us united. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like the it shifted to like killing one another, gangs, blocks, drugs, ratchetness, ghetto-ness. So I don't doubt not one bit that this is a part of the plan. Because, you know, we as people, well, they as people, not we, because I don't listen to none of that crap. And I'm not going to be influenced by it. But, you know, young minds are very impressionable. So when they're listening to music, and those are the things that they're hearing, it has a tendency to resonate with them and stick with them. And then so they want to be like those people, like those rappers, you know, and then they go out and do stupid things, you know, and it does land them a lot of times in prison, unfortunately. Like my kids not allowed to. I look. I paid for the phone, right? I paid for the phone, and one day Ethan was listening to something, and I took the phone and threw it out the window.
It's a little extreme.
I don't care. It's my money.
That's true.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said it was a little extreme. That's just a little extreme.
No, I threw it out the window because he knows better. Because he knows better.
I didn't say it was a lot extreme. I didn't call you a terrorist tonight. Just a little bit.
No, because he knows better. You know not to play that mess in front of me. I know you're gonna listen to it. You got cousins. You out there with your friends and stuff. But what you're not gonna do is listen to it in front of me. I threw it out the damn. I sure did.
Wow.
And it took like 6 months. He didn't have a phone for 6 months because I'm not buying you another one. He had to earn that back. And finally, there was like a sale. He lucky it was a sale. And I got him another one. But yeah, no, we're not doing that. Guess what? Guess what he don't do? He don't listen to that mess in front of me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you would have got that from a conversation.
No. A point was made.
I'm just saying, you know, I know what I would do for that. But I get it. Cool.
Yeah, a point was made, you know, so like for example, you know, my in-laws live about an hour and a half away, right? Quick example. when we drive down there, we do like, everybody gets to play 2 songs. And they already know, don't play nothing that's crazy because it's going out the window. Because he remembers that it went out the window. And I remember one time there was a song, my son, William, he played Simply Beautiful by Al Green. And I don't know how Sexy Red came up on the second song. You know how like when you play like just it's just automatically generating.
It shuffles. It shuffles.
That's a mean ass shuffle, man. That's a disrespect.
That's an extreme shuffle right there.
Right. That's what I was saying. But yo, I'm telling you, as soon as she was like, "Oh," and he said, "Nope," and he changed the song real quick.
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, that's Sexy Red, Ma. I know you don't like her." I said, "I damn sure don't. I'm glad you know."
Yeah.
Talking about booty hole brown.
See what I mean?
We're not doing that.
See. And you know the craziest part of that is that she has a lipstick line that got all these crazy names, and I'm just like,
all after like STDs. And stuff.
Some of them was.
I mean, there's a couple things. There's a couple things about, especially like Sexy Red. She has concerts and things, and people don't show up to it.
What you mean?
No, yeah, she has concert and people don't show up to it. But she's still popping. She's still relevant. So like when
that's because she's a plant.
When they put the word plant next to her name, like there's no way you can say it's not. People don't actually like her. Mm-hmm. But they broadcast her music as if she's somebody relevant. Mm. And then they make stupid lipstick lines. They put out sex tapes. They put out all this stuff to just make it go viral, make people talk about it. And everybody knows about Sexy Red, but nobody actually likes Sexy Red. You know what I'm saying? Like, same thing with like Suki. This chick, she's dumb as bricks, bro. I'll never forget that interview when the girl's like, "Yo, you're a really good musician."
I'm not a musician.
I'm no musician. Oh, I know you think. I said, no, I don't think. Like, yeah, we know, bitch. We know.
Right. Yeah, because she said, I'm no magician.
Magician,
she
right?
Said, no, she said no. I said you're a musician,
right?
No.
She's like
her.
And she doubled down on it. I was like,
right.
She repeated musician. She said, "I'm no musician." And then the girl, maybe you think I'm saying magician. That's what I said. I said, "I'm no musician." Yeah. I heard what you said the first time.
This is the same girl talking about eating men's booty holes, though. So I mean,
no, I don't know. I don't know what Suki. I ain't never heard a song from Suki. I don't know. I just seen her.
The only reason I know it is because of social media. Because it was like, I don't even remember, but it was like, it's time for her to eat booty hole, and I'm just like, why are we talking about this? Like, even if you want to do that, we don't need to know. Like,
right?
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, who asked you that? Who asked you that? Like, did nobody ask you that information? Like, first of all, more people are freaky than you know. All right, first of all, but everybody don't put that information out into the ether. That's not for public consumption. That's your business. If that's what you do, fine. But didn't nobody ask you for that information?
Let me introduce my invite over here. This is my man,
right.
Anasty, you guys.
Hey, Anasty, how are you? Welcome to the stage.
Hello.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
How you feeling today?
Just chilling.
Awesome.
Well, welcome.
So yeah, we were just discussing how media and the music industry has influenced Black society or Black America, however you want to say it. We were just talking about some examples And we were just recently talking about the secret meeting that was had back in 1991 that changed the face of rap. And they said that uh, that destroyed a generation back then. We were discussing that, and the guy was pretty much reading it. He was in industry. He was in the industry at that time, and he had attended that meeting. And the information that was conveyed in within that meeting was as such that a lot of people were so appalled that they walked out. There was a small cluster of people who were curious, so they signed the NDA. They stayed to listen to hear it out. And when they did, one person just really lost it, and that cluster of people got kicked out, and he was one of them. And he just kind of, there was a lot of things that they saying about rap. At that time, this was right before gangster rap had happened, and so they were talking about how the prisons and the prison industrial system was going to be connected to gangster rap because of the crimes and the mentality that was going to be coming out of it that would be easily incarcerated because it was motivating and promoting committing crimes and carrying guns and all kinds of stuff like that. So that was some of the things that we were talking about, as well as the fact that, of course, we in every genre, and not genre, but in every era of music, we've had our raunchy music, we've had our don't stop, get it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we've had that, but we're just talking about content and how it affects our people and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so if you have anything to add to it, you feel free.
Um, well, I mean, I think you guys are right on the money there. Actually, not too long ago, was it like 2 days ago? I was listening to this rapper. I don't know who he is because I don't really do rap all that much.
Mhm.
But he said he was gonna get signed up with one of those big producers, and what caught my attention was that at the fine print there it says you cannot say the word Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
and that was kind of like shocking for me because he didn't sign up. He ended up like walking away, and it says a bunch of other stuff like we know where you live. A lot of stuff can happen to you if you even say the word Jesus. They didn't say God; they said Jesus.
Mhm.
Again, it's not like I'm just saying like it's not just to make this about religion or anything like that. It's just to show you how deep this thing goes, the
Mhm.
rabbit hole.
How
Yeah.
controlling they
So
are. They're controlling.
yeah,
Mhm.
basically, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things you can't do. There's a lot of things you can't say, and I have to be with you on this. How do we learn? That's the first thing we need to ask ourselves. How do we learn? Right? We
Mhm.
learn by watching and by listening.
Mhm.
Right? So whatever you listen, you tend to do.
Mhm.
Right? Perfect example. My daughter. She was at the school. She was rolling her eyes at people. We don't do that at the house. You feel me? Where did she learn it? She
Mhm.
learned it from somewhere because she
Right.
didn't just come up and start doing it. It's
Right.
not like everybody else is doing it.
Right.
So I would have to agree with you that it has impacted a lot of people. That quick money mentality. People think they can just get rich real quickly because they can rap or whatever, or just start robbing people and doing drugs and all kinds of stuff because that's basically what they rapped about, right?
Mhm.
And just don't mention date rape drugs, and
Right.
then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty interesting to say the least. For those of us that don't get affected by it or don't let it control our own narratives. Kudos. But yeah, so from a lot of people, and I think Morris and I, we talk about this all the time,
Mhm.
that a lot of fatherless homes, where do they get their education? From rap music.
Yeah.
If you don't have a father, if you don't have any type of
Male role model.
male role model, thank you. These are the things that's gonna become the teachers in your life. You know, that's gonna be your role model. Those people that you look at, you know, and they're all rappers that rap about these things, and they're not even gangsters. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to do it because they're gonna get money. And as I said to him before, us as human beings, we're very selfish. We're only looking out for ourselves and not for anybody else. Those of us that do look out for other people, you know, it's just a blessing. I think, you know, it is a blessing for you to be able to look out for other people other than yourselves. So and
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty much my 2 cents on this.
Okay, well that wasn't 2 cents. That was about 75 cents. That was good. That was good.
I just want to point out, I want to point out why always the men, because I'm
Mhm.
always you don't know me. I'm the co-host. I'm the only female
She
ever.
about to fight with you. She about to fight.
Ever. No, I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna fight with him. He was very respectful. I fight with you. Okay, but not him. But I just want to point out that why y'all always bald? Why is it always the Milk Dud crew?
No, hold on, listen.
Oh no, you got okay. You got a shadow there. All right.
Her husband bald. You know that, right?
I think it's the angle. It's the angle.
Her husband
angle. That's right.
Yo, stop it, because her husband is bald. Like she
yeah, my husband's bald, and he comes up like that. That's why I said it. It's like the Milk Dud crew.
Yeah,
like I feel like going to Dollar Tree and get some Milk Duds.
You know, and she can't stop. And she can't stop rubbing her husband's head. She love that bald head.
Yeah. Listen, bald headed man, the sexy man. You know.
Oh, here you go.
The reason we bald is because we actually got some sense. All the ones out there in here, gotta watch out. Gotta watch out.
Oh,
you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh no, not you. I was just talking to my daughter because she it's time for her to go to sleep.
Yeah. So honestly, no, we've been agreeing a little bit too much. I must stir up a little bit. So.
Oh God.
Yeah, just a little. It's a little.
Okay, yeah. This is why we fight.
No, I'm not arguing for the sake of arguing. I just know this is not a popular take. That's all. But I think there's actually less of a racial component to this whole concept than we like to give it credit. I think it's more just a money thing than it is a race thing. And wherever, it's almost like if you're gonna go fishing, you want to find the biggest pond or the hungriest fish. And if you find the hungriest fish, you know what? Guess what? You have an appetite for perch and not salmon because the perch are hungrier, so you're able to catch more.
But
hold on real quick because I don't want to lose this thought. Mm-hmm. But I think that as Black people, we embrace the ghetto culture too much. Yeah. As opposed to, and I'm not saying because I know that y'all talked about other genres that also have like fuck the devil and whatever they say. I don't know what the hell they be saying either. Like I don't know what the hell these rappers
fetus, die the fetus, kill the fetus, die the fetus.
Right. I don't know what the hell they be saying, but I think that we embrace it more. Like so, like you mentioned Sexy Red, yeah, her concerts, but in the beginning. When she first came out, I watched a couple of clips of her concerts, unfortunately and painfully, and her shows were packed with young people. Mm-hmm. So we embrace it more than other genres or cultures would do. I can't even name you a new rapper these days. Like I stopped at Drake, Kendrick Lamar. That era, that's pretty much where my rap stopped. And even now, like even their new rap, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not rocking with that. But again, I just think that we embrace that lifestyle more than they do. And I could be wrong. I'm just saying this is my opinion only.
Well, for me, when you take away And when you say, well, it's less about race and more about money, you have to understand that you can't separate certain things. You can't deny the impact that it's had on Black people as a whole, as a culture, because we've forgotten what our culture is supposed to be. We have an identity crisis among our people. And my thing is that you can't separate, you can't take away race from this particular situation because it targeted Black people. This ain't something that they got together and did a secret meeting for country music. They didn't do that for country music. They didn't do that for heavy metal. They didn't do it for any other music genre except hip hop and rap music. They purposely did that. So we can't take away race from the equation because race plays a huge part in it. Race is one of the driving forces of keeping Black people's mental not so positive. That was the whole point. Everything was so, because you remember we had KRS, we had so many different KRS-One and so many conscious rappers that we started listening. We were happy, like at one point. We danced more, we got along a little bit more. And then when that changed, the whole scope of our race, our people, everything kind of changed. It shifted. And yes, you're right. Money does play a big part of it, because if you're going to take a kid out of the ghetto and offer him $1 million, he's never seen $1 million in his life, and you offer him a rap contract, he's worried about that money and what he can do to floss to get girls and the drinks and he's worried about all that superficial bull crap.
Don't forget too. Don't forget they'll give him a writer.
Yeah.
They'll give him a writer, so you don't got to pick his lyrics no more.
But that's what I'm saying. That's my point. Yeah. Like the guy who's popular in town, who is somewhat of has aspirations of being a rapper, like a lot of them do, and you go and you have somebody infiltrate that urban site, and you have them pull that young man to the side, and you offer that to him. This dude is thinking like, dang, I can get my mama out of the hood, or dang, I can pay for this, dang, I can get a Lamborghini. But he's not reading no small print. He's not reading none of that. There's certain things that they're not going to even tell him. But
I'm gonna give y'all a good example. I did not know this, so I learned this. 2 Chainz, he actually doesn't even listen to rap.
You know, what's her name? Cardi B don't let her daughter listen to her music. Eminem never let his kids listen to his music. Like,
he don't even listen to rap. He just said, I know that's what was going to make me my money. Mm-hmm. He listens to like that man is smart. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He listens to classical music. He reads books. I've seen like videos with him with his kids and stuff like that. And the person that you see on the TV screen is completely the opposite of what you see with his children or his everyday life. So again, like you said, it's like the money, and he said it. He literally said it out loud. He says, I don't even listen to this stuff. He said, I just know that I know what to say to make money.
But a good chunk of these new age rappers too, they're Clarence from 8 Mile. Remember Clarence from 8 Mile? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who they are. They're not from the hood.
Yeah, and just like with Drake, and Drake trying to be tough. Drake soft as buttercream ice cream. Drake ain't no. Come on now, this little beef he had with Kendrick Lamar that exposed him. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna go and tell on? Matter of fact, how you gonna go sue somebody? First of all, ain't you supposed to be a rapper? No. Aren't you supposed to be battling him? Like Kendrick wiped the floor with him, and the very first thing you do is pout about it and say, I'm a sue. Yeah. That's a punk move. You from the suburb. You from suburbia. Yeah. You just showed yourself. And the craziest part of all of this is that are y'all? Oh, okay. I thought y'all was frozen. And the craziest part of it is that a lot of folks they sit there and they follow it, like with Lil Wayne, when in the late 90s, when I'll say mid 90s, early, well, no, it was probably early 90s when this sagging fad started. Do you not understand that most of these fools, when they go to these meetings and stuff like that, they're not sagging when they go to these meetings. They're dressed in business attire. They're dressed like they got some freaking sense. But yet you're walking around here because you thought it was cool because he was on stage sagging and showing his underwear. But you're not understanding that's not their real life. A lot of these people, they are entertainers. At the end of the day, they're entertainers. Now, I'm not going to say that is all of them, no, because some of them have lived that life. Let me make sure I make that clear. Some of them have lived that life, and through some of their rap lyrics, they're telling the truth about a lot of the stuff that they've experienced. So I can't take away from that from all rappers. I'm just saying, by trade, when you getting in there and you're making your money from rap, you're an entertainer at that point. Because you'll be a fool to tell your personal business about the drug, this, that, and the third, and you still doing it. Like, that makes no sense.
You know, there's people that actually went to jail because they told on themselves, right?
Yes. which is crazy. Like, why would you list out what you did?
List all the evidence in the song. All the evidence.
All in the song. So
this is where I hit the gun after I shot him in the chest.
That's crazy. That is crazy. But my whole point is that the mindsets that went into this music poured into real populace, and people started doing all this behavior because they thought it was the cool thing to do. When did it become apparent to you that was the good thing to do? That makes no sense to me. That makes zero sense at all. You know what I'm saying? So and when you are an actual parent, you can't monitor your children 24/7. You understand? Because when they're around their kids and their peers and stuff like that, they're exposed. So it's our business to make sure we don't shelter our kids to the point to where they're learning stuff that you haven't covered. Because if you do that, if you shelter your kid to the point to where they can't even deal with real life or how to handle mentally the things that they're going to actually see in school, because these kids have tablets, they got their cell phones, they got everything, and they can access porn, they can access everything. So you don't have control over that, but they will go to school and they will see it, and now their brains are twisted because you haven't even had the first conversation with them. And I'm talking about in a realistic, age-appropriate conversation with them to let them understand what they will be seeing, what might happen, what to do. Like with Jessica, she can tell him or give him insight on what to do should your girl say or do a certain thing that has him confused, like what she mean by that. Like, she can give him insight. But if you're not a parent that is hands-on, who is active in a child's life, and that child gets confronted with this music, gets confronted with these videos, get confronted with these pictures, how do you think that's going to translate to that child? You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure we protect our kids by not.
Oh, shoot.
Well, I was just going to add, I know what he's saying. Like, as a parent, you know, when I hear some of the songs that the boys listen to, I don't shelter them per se, but I remember when they first started listening to that music, I was like, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay,
ain't none of this real. That's what they used to tell me about.
Real.
That's what they used to tell me about cartoons. Like, ain't none of this real. Okay,
right, and you know. And then there was another time, like there was one time where I remember Ethan was singing this song. I can't even tell you how bad it was, but it was really bad if I sat down with him. And I told him, I said, can you look around and tell me where you ghetto? Where are you hood? What part of this song resonates with you? You got ducks. You live in a house. You go fishing and you hunt. Please tell me what part of this song resonates with you. I need you to tell me that because you have not lived that type of life. Therefore, I need you to stop acting like that because no, we're not doing that. You know. And again, it's one thing. Like I'll tell you, there's one song. I'm gonna tell y'all the honest God. There's one song I like by Glorilla.
Okay.
I don't know the name of it. I just know when it come on the radio, it's catchy, and I'm like, okay.
Is it that one where I ain't got no nigga and no nigga got me?
No, it's not that one. It's the what is it? What is it? Hold on, give me a second. It's a GLO with the GLE. Ho, ho. I don't know. It's like I don't even know the song for real, but the beat is catchy, right? And so I was listening to it one day, and the boys was like, "Ma, you listening to Glorilla?" I said, "Yeah, but this is the only song." Like I said, but I think it's just the beat is catchy. I'm not really listening to the words. I like the beat. You know.
You're exposing. You're definitely exposing your ratchetness right now. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm mixed. Remember, I'm mixed.
No. Don't blame that. Don't blame that on your black side. No.
I'm mixed. Nah. We would know. Look,
blame that on your German side. All you want. I don't know about German.
Nah, look. If folks can call me a Nazi, they can call me hood too. Damn it. What? I'm being honest. Like
I hear you. I hear you.
But again, like it just like I remember one time. I never forget when WAP first came out. And I heard my son listening to it, and I threw his phone. I'm telling you, I'm good with throwing phones.
That's 2 phones already. 2 phones.
Yeah, I threw it. I said no. Like you don't see me sitting here. I know you're gonna listen to things when I'm not around. Okay, cool, but you're not gonna disrespect me, and you're not gonna listen to it in front of me, and you don't need to be listening to that in the first damn place. Period. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to hear that song in my house ever again. I hate that song. I can't stand the song. And I'm an adult.
Yeah, speaking about songs in my car, that's usually when my kids. I hear any of the songs that my kids gotta play because they be begging me, like, "Daddy, please let us play this song. Let's play this song." I'm like, "Listen, you got one chance. One chance. If it's not, and I told Dedrick earlier." My cutoff for like good music is right around 2010. Anything that came after 2010 for me is pretty much garbage for the most part. And so whatever they're gonna give me, it's gonna be something way before 2010 because it was, the oldest one was born in 2011, so he don't know nothing before that time. So every time they play a song, and I'll straight up ban him from ever choosing a song again in my car for as long as I feel like it.
Yeah,
and it's funny because the young one catches on quick, but the old one he likes to push limits. He likes to see. Well, I remember there's a artist that banned from my car, and that was Big Shaq. Now Big Shaq, he got nothing risque or inappropriate. He's just very bad, and I banned him for that.
Mine is the reverse. My eldest will play good music.
Yeah.
But Ethan, the big kid, child. And then here's the funny part, because Billy be driving, so now you got like the control on your steering wheel, right? So Billy even say if it's booty, our word is booty hole, like that describes it ain't crap. And Billy will say if it's booty hole, I'm changing it. And sure enough, like 3 seconds into the song, I see Billy's thumb go click and change the damn song. So yeah, my oldest likes like I love my oldest. He likes like he's still with like the Biggie. He likes the old school. He likes Al Green. He listens to
You mean Easy?
No, Biggie.
Oh, Biggie. Oh, Biggie. Okay.
Biggie Smalls, yeah.
Okay.
So he'll listen to things like he'll listen to our type of, and I mean like that you said. I know we had our stuff too, but he don't listen to this new stuff. I heard one song. I'll never forget it. It was something about cat piss. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. And I guess it was some type of weed that they smoked, kind of like skunk, but it was called cat piss.
All right.
I'm dead serious. And I heard the song, and I'm like, oh, hell no. Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Nope. Give me the phone. Give me the phone. Because I pay for the phone.
Yeah, no. I realize I'm not going to be able to control what my kids listen to or exposed to. So I don't focus on all that. Like I said, my focus is not to bubble wrap the world, but to make my kids tough. That's my focus. Make my kids as tough as possible because the world is sharp, and I got to figure out how to do that. So I focus on molding their mind, asking them the questions so that they learn how to think critically through whatever it is that they got to think through. Because you're going to be exposed to, you're going to be attracted to what you're going to be attracted to. You're going to be involved in whatever you're involved in. You got to be able to look at that as objectively as you possibly can and logically work your way through it to your benefit. Because one thing you do got to remember, like there was one point in time where as much I like rap music. You know, I love Kendrick Lamar. I love J. Cole. There's certain old school cats I still listen to. But these are not people that the generation of my parents would have ever accepted as quality music or beneficial music, or they will never. So the youth, to a certain degree, have got to figure stuff out on their own and also bring about innovation. So, but you know, what we got to pass on is not the exact do's and don'ts, but the questions that you need to ask to figure out whether or not you should or you shouldn't.
But here's the thing. I think, well, speaking as a parent for myself, you know, there's a limit, right? So let's say, for example, my kids are listening to a song and somebody drops the F-bomb, right? I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you can't listen to that. That's horrible. No, I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I lived through Lil' Kim and Biggie Smalls, right? But if in the first 30 seconds, I hear the F-bomb, the B-bomb, the N-bomb, the P-bomb, I'm like, turn that off. Turn it off. That's not even rap at this point. I mean, hell, you got singers now that will curse in their lyrics, right? They could be singing a love song and will curse. So like, it's not so much like curse words or anything like that. It's just like the overdoing of it, if that makes sense.
There's no artisticness to it. It's not art anymore. It's
right.
Just
right.
Yeah.
I mean, even some of our old school songs. I mean, let's think back to our old school songs. Some of our old school songs, if you go back and listen to them now, knowing what you know now, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I can't listen to it.
You're like, wait a minute, that was not a good song. Like, we shouldn't have been singing that at all, especially not at our age. Everything is age appropriate.
Right.
Right. I mean, I done heard quite a few songs, and I'm like, oh my God, I used to sing that. Oh,
I remember a song that I remember I was sitting in the back of my dad's car, and I used to sing the song all the time when it came on the radio. My dad would play it on the radio, and I grew up with the song, and eventually, I guess my mind came to me as I was sitting in the back singing this song. You know what song that was? Girl, I want to make you sweat. Sweat till you can't sweat no more. And when you cry, I'm gonna push it some more. La la la.
And you like what?
I'm jamming in the back of the car. My dad's like playing around. And it wasn't until I got to a certain age, I was like, oh.
I used to like that song too in the 90s.
That song I still listen to that song. That song's fire.
Right.
That song's absolutely fire.
I do
yeah,
too, but
just like sexual healing.
But the message is a bad message. Like,
It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that message. But kids shouldn't be exposed to this, is what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, right? Like I didn't know what I was singing. And I was probably
Right.
singing it out of context in places I probably shouldn't have been singing it. Right. But nobody ever corrected me on it. So I just it wasn't until, like I said, you know, I got a little bit of wisdom on me, a little bit of knowledge on me, and I realized, oh snap. So I decided to curb my behavior and not sing that so loudly and proudly.
So again, it's just. I think at the end of the day,
There was a song.
I
when
mean,
was in school.
let's think about it. You know, back in the days, we had like you couldn't go into the store and buy a record by NWA, right? Because they had the parental advisory on it.
No.
You know, but nowadays we don't have that anymore. Like, so at least back in the days, they tried to at least, you know, say, hey, nah, y'all kids don't need to listen to this. This is for adult entertainment only. But now they can listen to whatever they want to listen to. I mean, can't tell you how many I had NWA. I used to play when the Jehovah's Witnesses came by, real loud. So they leave. You know.
Dedrick on a delay, and he was trying to say something, so let him rock. You're gonna catch up.
Yeah, he's definitely on delay. But it's just about age appropriateness too.
I mean, it was the same thing. Oh, yeah, look at that one. We got double Dedrick. Yeah, Dedrick having all types of.
We don't need two. We don't need two of you.
You over there double screening.
My ducks are still not at the
But they're doing the same
Y'all
thing.
go ahead for a minute.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing with the movies, right? Like movies. I wanted to go take my sons to go watch. What was it? Ninja Turtles when it came out. Remember the Ninja Turtles movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out, and I went to go bring my kids to watch it, and I'm thinking, it's Ninja Turtles. That was stuff I grew up on. Right. And then now they're bringing it. Oh, shoot, they're bringing it back for my kids. Like I was, you know, I tried to get them into it.
Yeah.
Have that shared experience. And these people are dropping curses in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. And it's not like they kind of snuck it in there all nonchalantly. They made it like a one-liner. Like, you know, the one thing that you'd be taken away from movies, you know, everybody knows I'll be back. You know, if Arnold Schwarzenegger said I'll be fucking back, that's what we'd be saying too. You know, like, but like they dropped it in like one-liners. I was like, oh man, like there is an intentional act in trying to destabilize, deregulate, and just, you know, just set people up. They're trying to set people up, man, especially kids.
Right. So I said that I was going to show everybody this little small clip and whatnot. I wanted to show everybody this clip, but you're right. To respond to what you just said, you're absolutely right. One of the things that disturbed me, I'm a big Saturday morning cartoon guy, right? And that's how I was raised. We look forward to Saturday mornings, and then even, you know, we look forward to after school, the after school programming that they had for a while, and stuff like that. We look forward to Electric Company and all that stuff. We look forward to those type of programming because it taught us a whole lot and it was entertaining. But it's gotten to the point to where they want as much shock value as possible.
Yeah.
They don't understand how that tarnishes and that takes away a child's childhood. It takes away a child's spark.
I disagree that they don't understand. They don't care. They understand.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Understand might have been the wrong word. But I absolutely agree. And the thing is that when and my spirit broke for cartoons when I saw them pushing the LGBT agenda.
The first time I saw it was in this cartoon called the Loud Family.
That was one of them. The first, and even then we didn't really think about it as children, or as, you know, even Ren and Stimpy. Okay,
That was
Ren and Stimpy had some
Ren
craziness
and
going on.
Stimpy was
that-
trashy.
They
But
had some
that wasn't for
crazy
kids.
stuff.
That
Huh?
it wasn't for kids.
No,
Like this, just because
no,
it was cartoon
no.
doesn't mean it was for kids.
No.
Like,
At
No.
all.
And I didn't realize this until I got older,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I saw it. I was like, "Whoa, are you
Yeah.
serious?"
That
That's
type
what
of-
we like.
that
When
was
we
a
just
violation.
start when we were young, it was just outrageous. We just started with just outrageous. They're doing crazy stuff, but when you got older and you realize some of the innuendo-ish, the little in your face type of little gross things like they would do, I'm like, that's not age appropriate. That's not for us.
Yeah, no.
That was not supposed to be for us children. But and it would piss me off, like when they would make these references and stuff like that in the newer cartoons that I would see, and I'm just like,
Even in Disney, right? They drop a lot of like innuendos and like catchphrases inside the Disney movies. Yeah.
yeah, I saw that. I missed all of them when I was small. I missed all of them because that's not how we were wired. We weren't wired for that kind of thing. And now you look back at some of the stuff that we used to watch, and it's like, wow, wow, that's wild to me. But let me go ahead and show y'all this. And I hope I have it up loud enough. But and so you can hear what they were saying that was being said, and stuff like that. So
we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly, or even those who attended the meeting. Okay. I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And, no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember, you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property. Damn. So this meeting, bro. Now that's a lot for a meeting right there. Oh yeah, definitely. And this person later on, he said, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. Well, a few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry. Okay. And he said he just over the years he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality over 2 decades, he sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off. Yeah. They really pulled this off. He was like, they were told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messes in their music. Positivity. It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and put out. So if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Pro Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking. Yeah. Even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those, everybody. It's a back door. Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, anything that had a message in it had to go. Yeah, that's why if you even notice though, we talk about that all the time. Even be brief with it, those charms that came out like maybe in 1988, 89, the African charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. Now, after reading all this, it actually made me feel a few different ways. The first emotion I felt was shocked, because I was definitely taken back by this, just knowing the level of evil that's involved by even thinking of a plan like this. You know what I'm saying? The second emotion I felt was anger. Anger because it's not enough for them to exploit our culture and make all the money off of it. Mm-hmm. Because let's keep it real, the industry has never been favorable towards the artists. Never. But they're going to go beyond the artists to get the artists to influence and lure in the consumer, which they knew at the time were mainly minorities. Yep. In other words, keep promoting gangster rap so that the youngsters will be influenced by them, which in turn will incite them to want to act like them. And it's a very good chance they'll end up in their prison. Yeah. So they're getting paid twice. They're getting paid from the artists they signing, and then they're getting paid from the people that these artists influence that goes to prison trying to be like these artists. Yeah. So they making a killing. A killing. They're using the music business to promote their private prison business. My man is right there talking that right. 1988, a man named Tom Beasley, man. That's the co-founder of the corrections for Corporation of America. It's the CCA. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French. I'm reading this thing right there real quick. It's the CCA. So in 1988, he founded that, and this is in straight concert with the same thing. So it's like the music business. You do what you do on your side. And over here with the correction facilities, we're going to do on this side because, and now in 1970, there was 500 prisons. You know what I'm saying? Only 500 prisons in the United States.
No, I agree with a lot of the descriptions of what's going on. I still have a little bit of the issue with the conclusions. Again, because my stance is it's definitely a lot less about race, because the majority of people that show up to these big rappers concerts are not black people; they're white people. A lot of people that
I would say the majority. I don't think that's correct. I'm not going to say the majority. I say a good bit, but not the majority, because the majority is us. We consume most of that.
I'm talking about the bigger rappers, like the bigger names, like Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, these the bigger names in general. It's white people that show up to their concerts. It's white people that buy their music. I'm not saying black people don't. Obviously, they came from that community, but the majority of their income, their funds, and you would say their customer base are white people. Yet we don't see the same things happening in these white communities. Not to the same degree that it happens in the black communities. So, as much as we can play the race aspect, I'm not saying it doesn't play any part at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a money game, and if you cast, like I said, if you cast a bait into the ocean with a fishing reel, you don't get to pick the fish. You do know what type of fish you may attract, but you don't get to pick the fish that bites the bait. And they'll reel in whatever. Very few things they'll throw back, but most of it they're gonna keep.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of that, like a lot of that stuff, even if the public consumption is a mixed bag, a lot of it is geared towards the urban communities, because the urban communities don't control anything. The urban communities are mostly affected by it because they're more driven towards things that they don't have, or the aspirations of attaining these things that they don't have, or they don't have any control over. So this grandiose lifestyle that the rappers portray, this huge these huge houses and whatever, the drug industry and different things like that. Because a lot of folks, they're not going to think deep about nothing, because they don't want to think nothing deep and whatnot. So therefore, they're not. They're just going to continue to perpetuate all of the stereotypes that's been set forth and stuff like that. And so you really, like I said, you can't separate the race thing because the target is still the target.
Remember, it's not separating. I'm just saying, like, honestly, if they cast out the reel and it hit the Irish community, you would think they would have thrown it back. They wouldn't have thrown it back. They would have reeled it all in. If Irish people kept on picking this stuff up, they'd keep on pulling it in. And then when the Irish community started struggling because of it, they'd still keep going. Mm-hmm. If it was the Jewish community, they'd do the same thing. It's just my issue is the black people keep biting it. And they keep on getting reeled in.
And that's the thing that disturbs me, what you just said. Like, our community, we embrace the worst of everything. And you sitting there scratching your head like, why are you embracing something that clearly has no real value in your community.
You ready? You ready?
So why would you do that?
You ready? My most unsexiest answer that I always say all the time. Family. That's why. When you don't have solid base, solid foundation of family, everything and anything can sweep you away.
Absolutely. I can agree with that 100%.
And where a family is most broken. So everything always, and I don't care what it is, you can name a point out a problem. I figured this out a long time ago. It will always lead back to family. Always. Every single time.
Well, I mean, that's true, because remember in prior conversations we've had, the control came from breaking up, number one, your spirituality, and number two, your family. Those two major components is what broke the Black family units down. And then they installed systems within the American system that kept it that way. You know what I'm saying? So when you break those things down and you have no stability in your family, these young men that are aspiring to do something or whatever the case is, they're looking for something. And who you think is watching? The people who set up the projects, the people who set up the systems, they're watching. Who you think? Where do you think all these guns come from? Do you really think that urban America has that kind of access to all those different types of weapons? Like people have to really think about it. And then when you see these rappers, doing whatever they're doing and saying whatever they're saying, it's they're not the ones controlling it. They're not the puppet masters. The puppet masters are the ones that's dropping containers of guns and pockets of drugs and setting these young men up so that they can go and do damage in their own communities, so that their breakdowns in the home, because you have single mothers sitting there barely can make it themselves. So that mom is overly emotional. They're teaching that boy child how to not be able to handle their emotions. So now you got a sensitive, overly emotional male child growing up, practically raising himself.
Destruction.
Exactly. And then so now you have him going out there solving problems with a gun that he found in a crate somewhere that they didn't go out and find. Where were they going to find that at? They're not going to find that. So everything has been planted and perpetuated to break the Black community down to its core. Like you said, family, and like I said, spirituality. You take away those things, you break down the mentality of a Black person, and they teach their young the same thing. Just like with mothers, they're teaching. You hear those little girls talking about they want to be on welfare like their mama.
Look up in the system, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not a goal to do. Now, for us, we know it's not a goal. But when you're living in that environment and you see nothing different around you, what else are you thinking that is normal? So now you introduce music. Now it's entertainment. Now you're incorporating everything that you hear. You know what I'm saying? Now everything from relationship situations, everything from how you see men, everything on how you see women and how you label women, everything evolves around music, entertainment, and what you absorb in your family unit. And if you don't have a solid family union, like you just said, how are you going to guide that? How are you going to navigate that world? You see what I'm saying? So it's extremely important that we make sure. And I ain't even got to the point of mental health. I ain't even got to that.
Oh yeah, there's all the trauma, reoccurring trauma, and yeah, that's all that. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah. So when you're looking at the music industry has a lot to do with our culture, because even though other races of people latch on to our culture because they see what we make look cool, and then they imitate it. They always imitating Black culture and different things like that because they want to be like us, but they don't want to go through nothing that we've ever been through. You know what I'm saying? Our
I mean,
people have never been through it.
let's be fair. Let's be fair. If you wasn't black, you wouldn't do the same thing.
If I wasn't, I probably would,
So,
because it looks good on TV.
I ain't mad at it though. Like, I think black people are really good at influencing culture. There's no doubt about that. Like, it's all very good. What they're not good at is that monetizing it and monetizing it appropriately, so that they can actually benefit for it, build off it, and support their families and communities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one thing they just haven't shown to be good at it in general. Now there is some shady stuff that's happened, that's stuff has been stolen. But my stance is like, yeah, stuff gets stolen. If someone breaks into my house and steals my stuff, the next thing I'm buying is a gun. I'm not gonna sit here and whine and pout about it. I'm gonna let people know, like, this is what's happened to me, and this is what I'm gonna be doing to solve it. I recommend y'all do the same, because they're gonna be coming for you next if they came after me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, you gotta identify the problem and then solve it, and then move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But this tendency to sit back and whine, like we don't know what the problem. We know what the problem is. We don't need to keep talking about what the problem is. The problem's clear. Yep. Let's move on to what we need to do to solve this problem.
I agree. And what's up? Shout out to Timotheus. He wants to say shout out to the panel. So thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate you, brother. But yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves with my race of people is we whine too damn much. We complain too much. We puff out our chest, we beat our chest, and we're on these podiums grandstanding, and then you do nothing. You do absolutely freaking nothing, and you don't stick by nothing. Then you have to tell everybody everything that you're doing. Shut your mouth and move to action. Stop running your mouth so freaking much, because that's how they know how to counteract what you're doing.
My metaphor is like, if a dog walks into my house and shits all over my carpet, the last person I'm gonna ask to clean up the carpet is the dog. Yeah. I'm gonna kick the dog out. The dog's never gonna be allowed on my carpet ever again. And
okay,
I'm gonna deal with that.
Okay, time out. I'm gonna rewind you and repeat that for the people all the way in the back over there.
No problem. If a dog comes into my house and shits all over my carpet, the last person I'm gonna ask to clean that mess up is the dog. But you do got some people out here trying to make the dog clean up the mess. Like, you see them do that with kids, right? You like, let's take it for real. Like, you have a kid going in and making a mess, and they're gonna say, "You gotta go clean that up." Like, the kid's not capable of cleaning that up, because you ain't never showed him to do it. But then again, if you have a grown adult that has full agency, this is a kid, so the kid got the excuse. But you got a full grown adult that has the agency and the intentionality to do what they're doing, and this is the mess they do in your life. You don't ask that person to clean it up.
Nope.
I understand some people see that as justice. No. What it is you set a boundary. This is what people don't like. You set a boundary, and when they transgress the boundary, you punish them for transgressing that boundary real quickly. And they say, this you don't have access to this anymore because you don't respect it appropriately.
Right. But
we do this thing of letting them back in so they can clean up the mess. It's the same thing with like sexual assault. You can't ask the person that's doing that to fix the problem. They're not going to fix the problem.
They are the problem.
They are the problem. They are the problem.
So you don't ask your oppressors.
You need to fix it.
Yeah. You don't ask your oppressors to free you or save you.
No.
You don't do that. And that's my issue with our community, is that our lack of unity is where our weakness is.
I'm gonna tell you. I was gonna say, I'm gonna tell you, it's the same problem in Haiti. Like there's this mentality in Haiti, like someone's gonna come save us, and that's why a lot of Haitians then just not acting. The ones that are acting are doing more to destroy the country than build it, because they're willing to actually act. But the ones that actually do care about the country, they're just somebody come save. They're all victims. Somebody come save me. They're all Lois Lane waiting for Superman.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing in this country, like a bunch of Lois Lanes. Yo, listen, ain't nobody Superman, ain't nobody Lois Lane. Everybody grab their gat and get to work.
I've always said this, and it's not a popular opinion, and it's something that I don't post on social media. Is that once they have the audacity to treat us like 3/5 of a human being, and they lynch one of us, they cut open one of our kids and they stuff them with newspaper and stuff, all hell must rain down. Now people say, you have to let the justice system. First of all, it's just us. It's not the justice system, it's just us. Because when you I'm not, and that doesn't go for all Caucasian folks. No, because all Caucasian folks don't think the same. What I will say, though, especially when you're talking about police brutality, stop getting on podiums. Stop sitting there grandstanding and crying in the media. Stop doing that. Stop crying in front of people. Don't say a word. But all of a sudden, somebody's going to suffer a minus in their family. People got to feel it. And if they feel it, if they know one of their colleagues are going to be missing, if they know they're not going to keep doing what they're doing in our community. You got all these big Billy badass people beating their chest talking about I'm a thug. Go prove it. If you're a thug, go and get the people that you need to get. Wrong your community.
People forget.
But I'm not a fan of turning the other cheek. I'm not a fan of it. And our community as a whole, we talk too freaking much. Stop talking so freaking much and move to action. Stop telling people what you're going to do. Stop doing it. Privately get together. All these churches in our community, they don't bother us in our church. You know why? Because we're being indoctrinized. So if that's the case, if they're going to leave us alone in our churches, guess what? Have our meetings in our churches. Stop acting like you got to let the world know what you're going to do. No, there's enough of us to put our heads together to solve the problem. We're a genius race. People don't understand that. We're a genius race. So use your smarts to take care of our own problems. Stop looking for everybody else to solve your problems. Yeah, what I just said it's not going to be a popular opinion, and I really don't care. But in order for anything to change, we have to change as a people. We don't have our dynamic leaders like we used to have. So it's left up to us. It's left up to us because we don't want to die. We don't want to have no pain inflicted on us. Okay, well, use your smarts, your bright ideas to go and affect change a different way. And sometimes that means inflicting pain too. I'm sorry, but we can't keep getting kicked in the teeth and then we keep smiling so they can kick the rest of the teeth out.
But people hold on one second. I was trying to get it. No, I was trying to get in there before. But people forget that people forget the reason why World War III never happened. Why haven't we had World War III? There's only one reason: nuclear weapons. That's what everybody is about. Like, all right, we're about to do this. We're gonna stop them, and then we go like, hold on. They got nukes. Hold on. The conversation changed. All of a sudden, all right, maybe. All right, let's see if we can work this out. Right. The bottom line: mutual assured destruction. MAD. Mutually assured destruction keeps peace. Like the day you want to stop somebody from picking on you, being a bully, show them that you can cause as much damage to them as they can cause to you. And they go like, you know what? Maybe this conflict not worth it. And then all of a sudden you can actually have a conversation.
Yeah, but I think okay, and what I was gonna add to it, I think the problem is that when we do a certain action, there's no talking. You know, it's not like Malcolm X. It's not like our old school leaders where they would sit down with mayors, senators, superintendents, school teachers. You know, we did what we did. Like, you're not gonna keep fucking with us. But at the same time, we also sat down with them and said, this is why y'all gonna stop fucking with us. Because if you don't stop fucking with us, this is what you're going to experience. But it just seems like in this day and age, we're just reacting emotionally, but we're not having any conversation. So then that really doesn't help anything, in my opinion. Again, strong on my opinion. If I seek, I'm gonna not bring a certain situation in, but if I seek vengeance on someone because of something that happened, but if I'm not having conversations, if I'm not at the forefront, if I'm not having these conversations with the leaders, whether it be, it don't have to be Trump, you know, it ain't got to be the president of the United States. It could be your mayors. It could be it could be the people in your community, the ones that you know that are the patriarchs that are going to listen to you and say, hey, this is what we're going through and we need some help with X, Y, Z. But we're not having those conversations. So if we just turn around and we just start lashing out without conversations, that's not going to be conducive at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, I was worried from the tenor because me and Dedrick were going back and forth. We knew exactly what we was talking about. And I
had to step away for a minute. I missed the whole conversation.
Oh,
so
okay.
I did come in at the tail end.
Yeah. No, we knew exactly what we was talking about, but I knew how it would sound to people that naturally want to avoid conflict.
Well, Jessica, the thing I would say to what you just said was sometimes the leadership is complicit. Sometimes they are the problem. You can go to them and talk to them, sit down and run your mouth all you want. They're absorbing everything that you're saying, and they're spitting it out into the wastebasket as soon as you leave the room. They do not care. A lot of them do not care. And that's one of the issues, because it's been built into the fabric of this country. And those people who are complicit, they have a public persona that they care, but behind closed doors, they don't care. And how you know that is in the things that are not done. The slaps on the wrist of police officers when it's a proven fact. They're on video killing someone, literally, and nothing is done. But what are you going to sit down and talk to them about?
No, I understand that. What I said, but you gotta remember what I said at the tail end. Even your community leaders, your patriarchs, the people in the community. So it's not just about mayors or senators. It's really about reaching out across the board and leaving a paper trail, leaving your voice heard. You know, you might know that the senator don't care. You might know that the mayor don't care, but you know that Uncle John, who's been living in the community for 30 years, you know he cares. You know his son cares. You know his brother cares. So, and that's what we did back then. We didn't just focus on just the politicians or anything like that, because you're right. They don't give a shit. They don't. They only care about what's going to line their pockets. I'm talking more about going back to that village mentality where, you know, where you had the Black Panthers, where you had all these different things, where we went into the communities and we took care of those types of things. And we're not doing that anymore.
Mm-hmm. This goes back to my unsexy answer, though.
Not unsexy.
It's my unsexy. I call it my unsexy answer because it's gonna get boring and people gonna get tired of hearing it. But what's community made out of? It's made out of families. You can't have a community. You can't have a village unless you have a family. You have separate families that contribute. Like, you know, everybody has heard the pot metaphor, right? Everybody needs to contribute to the pot. But you can't take out of the pot more than that's being put into the pot.
Right.
You can't. So families put in to the community.
Right.
Right now, we have a bunch of families, broken families. When you have broken families, they take from the community. So what community are you going to have if you have too many broken families? And it only takes a few broken families to run the community dry.
Right. I can't disagree with that. Like when I lived in Buffalo, New York, I lived on Goulding Avenue. I had my grandma Cunningham about 4 houses down. I had my Uncle Ronald about 7 houses down. I had my aunt on the next street over, and the mother of the church lived 8 houses down, so, we had that village and that's what it was, but we just don't have that anymore.
Yeah, a lot of times too, we don't realize, this is this is like a simulation of a war sometimes too. Like, when you're storming a beach like that, like in World War II, you're storming that beach on Normandy, you're gonna see the people next to you drop. Guess what you don't get to do? You don't get to stop. You don't get to help him. You go until you've claimed that beach, and you're gonna see several people that that you was having good conversations with drop, guts all over the floor. You don't get to stop. You don't get to check on them. You move until you claim that beach, and it's harsh, but you're gonna have a lot of families that are gonna drop. But we move until we claim that beach that says this is our community now. And then once you have it, then you can start looking out for people, but not before.
Yeah, well, that's definitely how can I put it? That's like a golden age thing. That's how long ago it feels like it's been since I've seen an actual village. You can't correct nobody. You can't.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't get away. With nothing. And another thing that I know we've said a few times on the show is like, there's no shame. There's no shame. Like if I acted up, if I did something stupid, they didn't even have to know my name. They were like, "You Calvin's daughter. Yep. I know your daddy done taught you better than this. Come on, get over here.
Yep.
I'm gonna take you home because you acting a damn fool." So we don't have no shame no more either. We were embarrassed to embarrass our parents.
Yeah.
They're not embarrassed to embarrass the parents no more. They act, but and what's even worse, I'll add this. Not only are they not afraid to embarrass the parents, then when something happens, the parents are embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't you talk to my kid that way, and then next thing you know, you fighting the damn parent because you try to help their child. And it's like, oh wow.
Well, let's not forget when you're a child and you act up in front of the community, you're embarrassing to what exactly? What are you embarrassing? It's the family name that you're embarrassing.
Yeah, it's the family name.
It's the family name that you're embarrassing.
Right, that's what I said. They don't even have to know my name. They just know, oh wait, you Calvin's daughter.
I'm just trying to
you know better.
I'm trying to bring it full circle here. I'm just trying to bring it full circle, right? So you're embarrassing the family name. Who carries the family name into the family?
The father.
The father. What's missing from families?
The fathers.
The father.
The fathers are missing. If the fathers are missing from these families, what value does the family name have?
Nothing.
But again, I can only speak for myself because my father did raise me most of my life. So
no,
I'm
speaking in general. Remember,
I'm speaking in general. And I'm just giving. I'm just being clarifying because people might not know that, like, I was actually raised by my father as a single father.
No, we definitely was. I was just talking about in general, like when these communities are not acting the way appropriately, or people are not having that shame, like you were talking about, shame comes from the family name. That's where the pride of the family comes from. That's what you're going to be shamed about if you don't have a certain level of pride for the family. That father gone, the value of the family is gone, and what is there to be embarrassed of? What is there? What is like everybody that was raised in a popular family knows if you step out to that anywhere and do anything outside the house, you are a representation of your family, your entire family. Everybody that was raised in a decent family knows that. I remember I had that conversation with my kids. I was asking, why is so and so gets coming late, and the teacher don't say nothing to them, and they always say something to me, even if I come in 5 minutes late, and they come in 30 minutes late. I go because they know your parents care.
That's right.
You have a family name.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to say nothing to them because it don't matter what they say to them.
Matter of fact,
what they say to you, because when you say it to you, it's going to come back to me, and I'm going to handle it because I'm going to make sure that my kids are little statues of me and out there representing me, and I won't let them be defiled. I won't allow them to defile me.
Matter of fact, I'll give an example. One time, Ethan's math teacher called me, and he was like, Mrs. Fields, I've been trying not to call you. I've been trying to handle it myself, but Ethan's been hanging around knuckleheads, and I know that he's not a knucklehead. He's smart. He's a good kid, but he's like, he's slipping through the crack and trying to be cool, the cool kid, and hang with the knuckleheads. And I was like, no problem, because you won't have that problem no more. But like, and that just goes to what you said. They call me because they know, okay, you know what? Mrs. Fields going to handle it. Mr. Fields is going to handle it. I know I can reach out to them. I know they're going to answer the phone. I know they're going to answer the email or the text or however they contact me or Billy, But a lot of times parents don't do that. They ignore it. My kid would never. Not my kid. My kid don't act like that.
I'd like to say that I think I want to take it a little bit further beyond acknowledgement of what's going on in our community. I mean, talking about it is great. I think it's great that we are able to talk about these things and find a way to trying to find ways to encourage our Black community to do better, in a way. But me, I'm more of a. I know this always get me in trouble, but I'm a man of action. I like to take action on a lot.
Oh, he freezing up too.
That he said, just stop talking and then do something, right? And I'm just asking to our community. I know I'm starting something, but what are you guys doing for our community in a way of action to support and inspire them to do better, especially the single family household, especially the moms that just like they just banking on the Section 8 or child support. I know this one woman, she actually tried to get the father of a kid to go to jail because they told her, not to jail, I'm sorry, to get deported, because if he did, she would get more money. And guess what? She really tried to get this guy deported. And just to show you guys how deep this thing goes, and we need to start saying no to free money. It's not free. Somebody gonna pay for it.
Somebody gonna pay.
Somebody gonna pay. We need to say no to free money because it's not free. Okay. My mom used to say this to me, and I laugh because she said, "Listen, if they give you anything, if it's free, take it, unless if it's a whooping." I used to laugh about that, but as I grew older, I understood. I'm like, man, if somebody's giving me something, if I give something to somebody for free, I'm taking on that liability. You know, I'm the one responsible for it. It's not really free. Someone is paying for it. So now, as a community, you know, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that we can do? You know, what kind of movement can we put in place? You know, to really inspire these people and open their eyes to what's really going on. Because if you really think about it, I know you guys were talking about like how they targeting the black community and whatnot. I don't feel the effect of it because not because it's like it's not happening. It's just that I'm not letting it happening in around me. You know, and I'm not letting it happen. I know it's happening. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm talking about it. But it's not affecting me like it's affecting a lot of people that I know. Um, but us as that know better, right? What are we doing as a community, you know, to inspire these people? Not only to say no to free money, but to actually support one another. You know, we kept saying, my brother, my sister. Are we really brothers? Are we really sisters? You know? Because would you hurt your sister? Would you hurt your brother? You know? And I think this really for me, and I think he knows it too. That it goes deep for me, and that's one of the reasons why I started a nonprofit community, you know, to support youth. Because I really think that this is where it starts, you know, at the roots, and that I think that's what we need to inspire most. Because a lot of people after they hit 30, man, it's really hard to. So
It's a crooked branch. It takes a while
yeah,
to straighten it out.
it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. So
I want to
you
go.
know.
I want to go deep where you're going because you were talking about these deep issues of family and community. I say that the biggest attack on the family is women. They're the
Oh
biggest
boy.
vulnerability.
Oh boy.
Because think about it, the structure of the family is man.
Actually, I'm gonna have to make a slight correction.
I'm not done. Let me finish.
Somebody already told me is like you can never generalize because we wouldn't like women to say men, right?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me rock. You're doing the same thing Jessica loved to do. She learned not to interrupt me until I was done. Because by the time I'm done, she tends to want to agree.
Do not make me interrupt you.
So let me say it. I'm gonna say women are the biggest threat to a family because the men is the issue. Now, the reason I say it's more specifically feminist women.
Thank you. Thank you.
You gotta let me finish. It's like a musical.
You gotta lead with that.
No,
Because guess what?
I'm a musician.
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry. I'm gonna interject real quick because people that take one part of that clip and then run with it.
Not meant for you. I don't care.
I'm just saying, and that's why this because this generation that we're living in now, they are so sensitive. They can't hold nothing. They can't hold nothing.
But if you don't, let
they're not gonna see where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. I think Derek understand. I think Missy there understood too.
Look at that.
But
she don't understand.
for the general public, oh, it's gonna be hard, bro. But that's just my.
But it's the thing, like you gotta let me finish. If you don't let me finish and let me,
they won't let you finish. I'm sorry, but okay, go ahead.
It's okay because, like I said, I'm a musician, and the way I think in musical terms is you gotta build a lot of the tension in the song, right? That's when the song is climactic and everything, and everybody can feel all those emotions. All those emotions you feel, yeah, that's intentional. Because at the end, I'm gonna resolve that nice and smooth. It's gonna be clean water after you. But you gotta let me get through the storm part of the song because it's not pretty in the storm part of the song.
Get to it.
I just did though, but it's like I said, it's this feminist culture, ma'am. It is this feminist culture that intentionally unroots the male from the role of foundation of the family.
You know, I never truly understand the whole feminist movement because
We got a timeout over here. Hold on, we got a timeout over here. Okay, Miss Fields.
Can we not pretend? Okay, I'm not a feminist. You are, young man. What's your name again? I can't see.
Annecy.
Annecy. You don't know me. I'm a married woman, 16 years, 3 beautiful children. I'm a stay-at-home mom and wife. Like I'm all for nuclear families. So in that part, in that aspect, I agree with Maurice. However, Maurice, can we not pretend that some of y'all men's be going around depositing y'all seeds, and women y'all ain't got no business depositing y'all seeds in, and then wonder why our home is broken?
Oh yeah,
I'm the only woman here, so I gotta at least at least speak for that part of the population.
I love that you brought that up. I absolutely love that.
I agree with her 100%.
The reason I love the fact that you brought that up is because I'm a victim of that. I planted my seeds in the ground. So
I don't think that's what she meant.
No.
I got you, bro.
I'm just saying I'm empathetic to everything she's talking about. I am the one that she's talking about. So I don't take it personal at all, because I know that's where I made that mistake. I absolutely did.
Okay.
So it does come to men to pick where they're going to plant their seeds appropriately. Agreed. But in the same sense, on the other side of that is women need to make sure that they don't just let any farmer roll through their lands, dropping seeds wherever.
I agree. I'm just saying, let's at least acknowledge both sides. That's all I'm saying. I agree. Y'all already know that. You and Dad know that.
Of course.
Yeah, I think what Maurice is saying is it's more so on the women's part than it is on the men's part. Although I agree that we do, men have those tendencies, but moreover, we have a whole month dedicated to women. Okay, is it Women's Day or Women a day? Right? I'm sorry, I thought it was a month.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. But guess what?
You have breast cancer month, or a week or something like that. But then you have Mother's Day, then you have Valentine's Day, then they have their birthday, then they have Christmas, then they.
No, you didn't say Christmas.
It's all it is. It's all
for women. It's all for women.
Ain't no man enjoying any.
And I think my issue with it is
enjoy one of those holidays. Not one.
Listen, this is my biggest issue with the feminine movement, and I understood where it came from. Is the fact that you trying to be independent. Independent of whom?
The man.
No, but that's the thing, though. It's a hate crime. Seriously, it's a hate crime. Think about it. Okay, if I were to say I want to be independent of women, it won't go over well.
No, you gay.
Thank you.
You gay. That's what they're gonna say.
Thank you. But guess what? They get celebrated for it.
Of course.
Now, moreover, is the fact that they want to take on more responsibility when they have no accountability. Okay? Now,
I just want to point out that not all of us want more responsibility.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the feminists. You're not a feminist.
Okay.
You're a stay-at-home
I
mom.
don't want no response. I just want to cook dinner and fold the laundry.
And guess what? I wish we had more people like you, more women like you. I really do. Because guess what? You already doing all this thing at home. If you have a job, guess what you're doing? You have 2 jobs.
Right.
You got 2 jobs. And yet you say you want to be independent. Is it you wanna be free from men? I don't need men.
Nah.
Again, my only issue, I understand sometimes like you want to have some type of self-value, which is free, which is really fine with me. because I think everybody should have some type of self value. But I think it's dumbfounded. You know, it's not where it's supposed to be. But overall, I think our community and like you said, you know, the man behind the curtains, they are banking on this, and they are hoping that we just keep on going.
Mhm.
Okay, because guess what? We all we doing is destroying each other. It is the worst thing for you to say that you don't need another human being, because we were
Right.
actually made
For each
to
other.
need one another.
And not
And to say that
necessarily
you,
man and woman, but it could just be a brother and a brother, a friend
yeah,
and a
that's
friend.
for everybody. I'm just talking
Right.
about everybody now, not just women. I'm just saying everybody. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I never said to myself, I don't need so and so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm well off. I don't need this. I don't need that. Even if I could do it by myself, if somebody gonna come around and try to help me out, please help me out.
Or
You
just be a
know,
part of it.
yeah, be part of it. And guess what? And that's what community is all about. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's putting the hand together, and then just have one goal where we're just gonna go there and make it happen. And if us as the community, as the black community, were to do this and stop saying these nonsense, okay, these nonsense about, oh yeah, I don't need so and so, I'm independent. I've never heard a man said I'm independent. Not once. Never said a man say, oh man, I'm independent. I'm an independent black man. No, never said never heard
And
anybody said that.
you never will.
Well,
And you
I
never
also
will.
think speaking as a woman, right? As the only woman, as always. I gotta give me another woman up here. I swear.
Get the
But
work.
you know, we as women sometimes we have to be self-sufficient, right? But there's a difference between being self-sufficient and being that I don't need a man. And I've said this many times before, like, you know, I I can move the house 2 inches to the left if I really want to. But if my man is there, I'm gonna be like, baby, can you move the house 2 inches to the left, please? And you know, if I need to get the
Asking me
relish
to do the
jar.
impossible. Why you asking me to move a house? You used to be put there the first time. Why you asking me now to move the house? It wasn't good the first time that I put it there. I done built the damn house. Now you want me to move it?
But
You know,
the
I actually
point,
like how
but
she
the
put
point,
this.
yes, but the point is that like I know that I can pump my own gas. I know that I can cut my own grass. I know that I can
Right,
take out the trash. I
right.
can do all of those things. Hell, I'm ASC certified. I can fix more
But
things
you
on a
shouldn't
car
have
than Billy
to.
can.
If you have a man, if you're
But
cooking
if
for
I
your
got a
man,
man,
if you're taking the kid, you're taking care of the kids, you clean the house, you
I
cooking
ain't
food,
doing it.
you shouldn't have to.
Hell no, I'm not doing it.
You
But
shouldn't.
that goes to a different point. And Jessica, us three have already discussed this, and especially Jessica and I on a previous show. We if it's to the point to where you're talking about all the stuff that you got to do, especially if you have a man in your life, right? And you're sitting there complaining, oh, women have to do this, and we gotta do this with the kids, and we first of all, you don't got a partner. First of all, that's
Right.
first thing. Because if you the person that's the only person in the house cleaning, the only person in the house cooking, the only person in the house helping the kids with their homework or picking them up doing this, what exactly is he doing? And please don't say, oh, he's always working. That's a damn lie. Because ain't nobody working 24/7. You understand?
Mhm.
So if you're helping your partner do the things that's in the house, because both of you live in the house, guess
Mhm.
what? You get more done. Guess what? You get more time for yourself. Guess what?
Mhm.
Things are done quicker. Why would
Word,
I put that
word,
all on one person? So
word,
you get the
word,
wrong
word.
person, and you're not being accountable that you chose the wrong person.
Right.
That is true. That is true. You know, I want to go back to what Mrs. said earlier, Mrs. Field. You know, when you said that, you know, women needs to be self-sufficient, I agree with you with 100%. Because I'm gonna tell you this, even my wife, when I talk to her, she would want me to do everything, and I would try to get her to do something. You know, you got to know how to do this, honey. You got to know how to do that. You know, she's like, "Well, you here, baby. You know, you can't do this." You know, because she's taking care of a bunch of other stuff. But at the same time, I have no problem with women being self-sufficient. None whatsoever. I
Mhm.
was reminded once, once told me that I was lucky because I had a wife that is both beautiful and have a brain. Because sometimes you can have one but not the other.
Right, right.
You can have it. It's either she's beautiful and she got no brain, or she's very smart but not so pretty. But and I thank God for that. Because having somebody that's willing to work with you, and that's willing to work on these type of things with you, it truly is a blessing. But to go on my point is that just because the world is telling you that you should do these things doesn't mean that you should, right? And my best saying is this: just because you can do something,
Um,
because you can do
is that what?
something doesn't mean that you should. I don't know if
Oh,
you guys
yeah, we heard it. But why are we listening to Sexy Red? I hear somebody's listening to Sexy.
did you guys hear that?
No, you didn't. No, I didn't.
I think somebody's trying to call me. But what I'm
The
saying
last part
is,
was
what
the
I
last
said
part we
is,
heard.
just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
I live
You
by that
know?
mantra,
Yeah.
and I've told some
Yeah,
people specifically that very thing because they felt like just because they got an opinion, they have a right to do whatever. Yeah, you got a right to. Don't mean that you should.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you should. Just because you can twerk on top of a car, don't mean that you could. You should.
oh, you gotta take the hat
What's
off,
up,
though.
man? What's good?
You gotta take the
What's
hat.
going on?
You gotta
Hold
take the hat
on,
off.
hold on.
Take the
Milk
hat
that
right off.
gang, milk that
Rub the head.
Welcome
Rub
to
the
the
head.
team.
Rub the head. Rub the head. Yep, that's right. Rub it
What's
nice.
going on?
Rub it nice. Tuesday here.
I'm not there yet, but I'm coming.
You know, I gotta give you an
There
update
you
on
go.
what your wife is doing, right? She was up here just dogging bald men, yo. It was wild. It was
I was
wild.
not.
She was
She was
dogging
over
him.
here
You was like
dogging
she
bald men.
wish you were just grosser. She just wish you could get your afro and your sideburns back, man.
Yeah, I know.
I always
I
always
did
got
not
your
say
back,
that.
Billy. I always got your back. I
He's
was like, yo,
lying.
listen, you know you love rubbing on Billy's head, so stop playing around.
They
Stop.
lying, baby. They lying.
Come on, Billy. Billy, I've ever since before I even met your face, I had your back, Billy. Come on, though.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
See, don't do that. Don't do that. You're not gonna separate this bond between me and Billy, son. You're not
Really?
gonna separate
That's what we
between me
doing.
and Billy.
That's
son.
what we doing now.
See,
Yeah.
hey, the way you look in that camera just now, even you look bald just now. So it's cool.
Look, I got a big forehead. That's because I got a big forehead.
No joke.
No,
Honestly, I want to talk a little bit about partnership because people tend to confuse partnership. I remember I got into a back and forth with my boss one time about what it means to work as a team. Like, I don't care what team you are. Everybody on the team has a role. That means they have a hierarchy of priorities. There's primary objectives, secondary objectives, and tertiary objectives. And that works just as much inside of a family unit as well. Everybody's got their roles: primary, secondary, tertiary. And if you have a situation where you got a man and a woman inside of a house, there are certain roles that men are more capable, more apt at dealing with. Not all. But men in general are more capable at dealing with certain things. Women in general are more capable at dealing with certain things. Now, if you have people playing stuff outside their roles, you end up with two problems. One, the task not getting done completely or to the best of that it's possible, because you have somebody probably better at doing it that could have done it. Or two, or two is people crossing paths and bumping into a certain thing because there's no proper hierarchy. Even in a group projects, you need some type of hierarchy, or else people are going to be doing the same thing. You need to divide the tasks and hold people accountable to making sure that they get their aspect of the task correctly. But if you have two people working on the same thing in tandem, you're going to step on each other's feet. And people are going to argue. People are going to fight. And nobody's going to have that final say. Now, a certain situation that happened in my job was, it's a partnership. There's a certain part in the beginning of the year where it's the other person's responsibility to make sure everything. And my job is to fall back and fall in line and be supportive and kind of play that second fiddle. Whatever she needs done, I make sure I get it out of the way so she can actually get her thing done. So that way she doesn't have any obstacles. That's my role. Then towards the end of the year, it's my job to get stuff done. And she needs to fall back and support and move everything out of the way. She needs to be disposable to me to make sure that I can get my job done. This is how partnerships work. Unfortunately, people think that everybody doing everything is a good partnership. It's actually, that's one of the worst things that can happen, because you're gonna bump into each other. You're gonna cause, like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like on a football team, if everybody wants to run the football, everybody gonna be grabbing the football. That's gonna be a big problem. Nothing's gonna happen. You're gonna lose.
Well, not to mention, then you also, like, that one person eventually burns out, right? If that one person is always the one that's carrying the ball, that one person is going to get tired.
Yep.
Well, yeah. I didn't get to that part, I guess. But that's going to happen eventually, right? Let's say in a marriage situation, you have a husband that's working 12-hour shifts, bang, 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 trying to put it. Eventually, he's going to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and there's gonna be a certain time. Maybe wife's gonna have to pick up some of the jobs, pick up some hours and start working, right, to alleviate the stress that the husband's going through. In the same sense,
but not necessarily.
Hold on. Let me finish. In the same sense too, if the mom or the wife is at the house taking care of 4, 5, 7 kids. And this one has a disability, this one has a disorder. Dad, what are you doing? You're gonna have to shave off some time and pick up the slack in the house, because stuff needs to be done there.
Well, I was just gonna add that that's not necessarily all that is to it, because my husband, he works a lot of hours. Not all the time. Like Tuesday through Thursday, he works at 7:30. The Monday and Fridays, he gets off at regular time, and then of course he's off on the weekends. But that's due to his, his profession. But when he comes home, I make sure that there's nothing for him to do. All he has to do is come home, take a shower, the food is done, and relax and hang with his kids. That's it. And if he don't want to hang with the kids, he don't hang. Well, he does, because he just loves his kids. But whatever, So, but I make sure, because of the fact that I know, I'm like, okay, he left here at 7:20. He's getting home at 7:30. I'm going to make sure that everything is done. That way, he doesn't have to do those things, right? But at the same time, too, he also participates in those things, like raising the kids and spending time with the kids. Sometimes they'll be like, all right, I'm gonna take off. Matter of fact, tomorrow they're all leaving. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. They're all leaving. They're going to his parents' house because my son has a doctor's appointment down here tomorrow. Which is very important, but I have a doctor's appointment here so I can't go. So again, it's just like 50-50 is give and take. Mm-hmm. It's
which I mean, nothing. I don't think anything.
Like, if he's changing the oil, I'm handing him the 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
If he's cutting the grass, I'm handing him a glass of water because I see sweat dripping off his head, and I give him a paper towel. If he sees me trying to carry up a load of laundry upstairs, he's gonna grab the basket and take it upstairs.
Nah,
Doesn't mean to
these
load
are
it.
some very dangerous conversations.
What do
Very
you mean?
dangerous. Like, because the communities, the people that we have right now, the people out there, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear no gender roles, none of that. You know, and that's why I love this right here, because
Well, it's okay.
it's crazy.
But see, it's okay if they don't want to hear it. It's okay because they're gonna keep getting what they're getting. They're gonna keep getting the recycle. They're gonna keep recycling their results. Like for me, I love it when we get pushback when we're talking about things that make sense. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Because if what they were doing was working, guess what? They wouldn't be single. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't have all the frustrations they were having if they would actually listen. If they were listening, guess what? They wouldn't have the issues they're having. So I don't really care if we get pushback. I really
I
don't.
just love it. I just love it. I don't really care either. I just love the fact that we can have these
Yeah.
conversations, and I can have a group of people that can actually join in, and they can actually, understand what we are meant to be as people, as a community, and not to go too far, but when I'm thinking about the whole, marriage and whatnot,
Hey,
people are
Nuno.
always saying that, they're always saying 50-50, 70-30. I think it's 100-100, you know, 100-100,
Yes.
I agree.
because there's no 50-50, because my 100 might look like a 20% for the day, but that's all I can give you for that day. You know, my 100% might be 80.
Right.
It might look like an 80, but that's all I can give you for that day. You know, but in all honesty, and again, like I said to people, is this in relationship? That's why I go in 100%, 100% in my marriage, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got time to
Mm-hmm.
like checking to see what she's doing, what she's not. It's either I trust you, or I don't. You know, it's either I trust
Right.
you or I don't,
Right.
because it's not very healthy for you to live in that kind of life where you always constantly worrying and giving yourself a lot of headaches. But in term
Mm-hmm.
of gender roles and what each person has to do, I'm a firm believer on that. Now, those roles might be interchangeable in certain aspect, not all of them, right? Where like she was saying, like you can help that person out with this, you can help out that, but that this one thing is your main thing. This is what you do. Like for example, my wife, she won't clean the bathroom. All right, you can't get her to do it. She said, I'm sorry, she won't clean the toilet. She'll clean the whole bathroom, but she won't clean the toilet. But guess what? I know that. It doesn't bother me. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the toilet. But that's my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that might be
Mm-hmm.
something different in somebody else's, marriage and other people's situation. But for people to say 50-50, 70-30, and all that nonsense, I think it's I don't know, it drives me crazy,
I just want to double down on what he said. It's definitely 100-100.
I'm gonna disagree, but I want this person to
I know
speak
you're
up.
gonna disagree. Of course,
I want to
you're
disagree, but I'll wait patiently to disagree because I'm curious about this individual that just showed up. I don't want to be rude.
Oh, that's my
showed up?
friend. I didn't know where to
Oh,
send him,
Oh,
because he wanted to join
welcome.
in, but I don't see if we have a follow.
I can't see the name.
Yeah.
Welcome, whoever just joined.
Hey,
I can't see the name.
hey,
I
Nuno.
just bought new
Nuno.
glasses.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
what Guan Yu Yo?
How you feeling, man? How you doing?
Oh,
Welcome to the
sure.
stage, bro.
I'm doing good, man. It's a pleasure.
Okay. All right, so I can disagree now. No, I can disagree.
Wait,
now.
no, I wasn't finished, Maurice.
No, No, you just
I wasn't finished, Maurice.
you just added to what Edison had said. You was like you agree with 100. That's what I heard.
It's 100, but I still wasn't finished.
Okay, all right.
Dedrick, get him.
You know how women are about finishing. Let her finish.
Thank you. I let you finish and let me finish. I'm just saying that it's 100. So on days where there have been days where I know he works until 7:30, right? I'm just going to use this for an example. I know my husband's working at 7:30. I'll look out the window and I'll look at the grass. You know who goes out and cuts the grass?
Who goes out and cut the grass?
What? Me.
No,
go ahead, get out of here.
I will go out and cut the grass because I don't want the man coming home at 7:30 after he done been at work for 12, 15, 14 hours and come and cut this grass. So I'm gonna cut the grass for him. Now he does cuss me out when he pulls up. He be like, "What is you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm baking a cake. What does it look like I'm doing? I'm cutting the damn grass, dude."
Now the grass gonna taste like cake. Like the cake gonna taste like grass now.
Right. You know, but then, for example, like let's say, for example, when I had my foot surgery, I was down and out. I couldn't do nothing. Guess who took care of everything in the house? He didn't do it the way that I would have done it. Like I came downstairs a couple times. It was like, oh my God, let me go back upstairs because did you just clean the counter with like bacon grease? But I was appreciative. That he actually tried to clean it. So I'm just like, okay, thank you, baby. So that's what I'm saying when I say 100. We both give our best efforts to make sure that everything is good within the household that we're trying to run. That the kids are good, that we are good, and that the household is good.
Right.
And I name my
I can't wait to hear what Maurice has to say. Come on.
If I may say something.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. You got visitor privilege. I'll let you go.
Oh, I appreciate that. So this is how I look at it, and I absolutely agree with what my brother Enes is saying because
man, 1v3, let's go.
According to God, whatsoever you put your hands to do, you should do it with all your strength, right? Now, the woman was taken out of a man at a price because God had to rip a man's ribs in order to make the woman. But children come out of a woman at a price too because she has to experience pain in order for her to give birth to children, which we all love. We love children. Everything we do, whether you know it or not, we do it for the children. We don't do it for us because we already older men, you know what I'm saying? And eventually our time is going to expire, right? But as far as when it comes to a man and a woman, I absolutely agree with Enes. Is not a thing which is 50 and 50. I mean, that conversation shouldn't even exist anyway, because a man was created to honor God and the woman was created to be a helpmeet to the man, right? And by her doing this, but when a woman honors a man, she honors God because God gave her that mission. And when a man honors God, he will also honor his wife or the woman that he's with, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the conversation about who's doing more or who's doing less shouldn't even be included.
Nope.
It shouldn't even be included because at the end of the day, we are supposed to help one another to achieve perfection for one another. And even though we cannot be perfect because there is only one that is perfect. But if we, mankind being perfect is the striving to become perfect. That's what makes us perfect. Right?
All right.
Because,
so let me pause for station identification really quick. Don't forget what you was about to say. Don't forget what you Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. Go ahead.
No.
No, I already finished. That's all I had to say.
No. You talk about me. I ain't taking 60 seconds.
I'll take that 60 seconds. I'll take that.
That's too small.
You know what? I think I just want to add to what my brother just said. Okay. What he said right here, and I think that's the best way I've ever heard it being said, is that a woman needs to be the type of woman that a man wants to die for. And a man needs to be the kind of man that a woman wants to submit to.
And
You
live
know,
for.
and exactly, and I guess what I think I've never heard it better than this way. You know, are
Okay.
you the type
So
of
let
woman
me
that somebody want to die for, and are you the type of man that a woman should submit to?
Hey,
all
Dedrick
right.
gotta pay the
Hold
bill.
on, hold on. I
Dedrick
got
gotta
a
pay the bills,
segue.
man. Gotta pay the bills.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on, because there's a word in there that before we get off of here tonight, I'm gonna need a definition from each one of you because there's a word in here, and we should do a whole show on this. But there's a word in all of this that was said multiple times that I don't think everybody understands what it actually means in conjunction with a relationship, marriage, all that good stuff. So give me a second for I want to take a minute to do some sponsorship, some shout outs and stuff like that. So give me just a second here. All right. First and foremost, we want to give a shout out to Meet the World Image Solutions for all of your literary needs. So if you are an up and coming author, someone who is trying to get their book out, someone who needs help with the editing and stuff like that, and particularly if you're looking for book publishing, editing, ghostwriting, book coaching, or a workshop to help you hone your craft as a new author or an established author, go to meettheworldimagesolutions.com, where the founder, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, my bae, is the founder of this Meet the World Image Solutions and everything, and she is amazing at what she does. So if you really want to get your book out, get your craft, get your work done, and make sure it's a great work, you might want to go to www.mtwimagesolutions.com. That's www.mtwimagesolutions.com. That MTW stands for Meet the World. Okay, guys. Also, if you want some sweet treats, if you want a party in your mouth, if you've never had a celebration of the mouth, I want y'all to go to IG, follow me on Instagram at Mr. Craves Cookies, where it's a party in your mouth. All right. They have over 54 different kinds of cookies and bars. No, I don't do cakes. I don't do cakes. I do cookies and bars. Absolutely gourmet. Everything from banana pudding cookies, everything from red velvet, peach cobbler, carrot cake cookies. Man, I do it all. Listen. So go there, check me out, and I will send you a full menu. The only thing that's not on the menu is my brand new treats that I've introduced to the world. My oatmeal cream pie, yes, just like Little Debbie, but better. My key lime pies, my key lime cookies, my orange sherbet cookies, and my almond raspberry thumbprint cookies. So guys, go there now. Go follow me on Instagram at Mr. Craves Cookies and whatnot. And thank you. Next, we want to go over here on the stage, live and in person, brother Maurice. Tell them where to find you and how to listen to your music.
All right. Yeah, as you heard, I'm a musician, as you can see. I got my babies in the back, and they just hanging out, waiting for me to play them so beautifully for everybody to hear. But yeah, come find me on YouTube at Maxi Studio Music, spelled M-A capital X lowercase S-I. That's lowercase M-A capital X lowercase S-I. Make sure you check that spelling, because they'd be like switching up on people. But Maxi Studio Music on YouTube. I want you to do that, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. I want to hear what everybody got to say about it.
All right. And one of our new individuals that's on the stage today, Mr. Annecy, tell us where a little bit about the foundation and what you're doing for the kids in your community and whatnot. Tell us how to find you.
Um, well, we are still on the new stage where we basically what we base out on is we in Massachusetts. All right, and what we're trying to do for the youth are, it's a financial literacy. Trying to empower our youth to do better. To not accepting free money. Basically, you gotta earn it. You gotta know how to invest it, and you have to know how to spend it. So we want to make sure that they have better education, that there are more than one way to get your education. You don't have to always go for the 4-year college, but you can certainly try to go for a different route, which will also lead you to success. And being educated doesn't mean that having a 4-year college, because you can have a 4-year college and still not be educated. So these are the things that I really wanted to push out for the youth out there. The ministry is called Redeemed Youth Ministry. We should be launching sometimes the end of this year, if not probably very early next year. So stay tuned. I'll be sending out more information about that.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
Brother Nunez. So, is there anything you got going on people should know about and how to find you? All right. And lastly,
No, I'm
Ms.
sorry.
Jessica.
I'm sorry, man. I heard you say my brother Nuno, and then it cut off. I couldn't hear
Okay,
you.
my apologies. I said, is there anything that you have going on that people should know about, can support, and whatnot going on in your world?
Man, that's a very
If no,
tough
that's
question.
fine. Jessica
That's a
said the
very
same
tough
thing.
question. I
No.
mean, all of us have something going on. So, so when you ask that question, it's the only thing I could think about is right now. I called my friend and I wanted to know how he's doing, and he told me to join you guys. That's what's going on right now.
All right. All right. Fair enough.
This dude said, he said, I live in the moment.
Fair enough.
That's right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, that was the question. He said, if I have anything going on right now, yeah, right now this is it.
All right.
But I have to say, I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it, and hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, most definitely. Every Thursday night, 8:30, we here. So and Miss Fields, and Miss Fields, all three of y'all. What's going on, Miss Lady?
It's only two of us, okay? It's Jasmine and Jessica, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Add another personality.
Oh, okay.
All right. As always, I know Dedrick hates when I say this, but I'm just a stay-at-home mom that does her thing with her children and her family. But definitely, I've had Dedrick cookies, and it is definitely a party in your mouth or a celebration. I don't even feel comfortable saying that as a woman.
Me either.
Sound right.
I don't like it. I don't. He keeps saying it. And he's saying with a smile on his face. He's sold on that tagline. I let him rock.
Absolutely.
I let him rock.
I don't think I want a party in my mouth. His cookies are very delicious. Okay, we'll say that. And then I will also say that yes, please follow Maxie. I've listened to his music, and he is very talented. Even though I hate telling him that, because then he has this ego thing. And
always worried about.
Thank you to the brother that is influencing the youth and is trying to help them, especially with finance, because my husband actually teaches high school, and he teaches business finance. Business marketing, finance, and economics. And it's definitely something that our youth need to know and learn. And I used to be a youth mentor before I started having babies and stuff. So definitely, whatever you're doing, keep coming to us, and when you get everything set up, we'll support you the best way that we can. And other than that, just continue to join us every Thursday. We're here about 8:30. Remember, we CPT time sometimes. If you don't know what CPT is, it's colored people time. So sometimes we be a little late, but we'll be here. We'll be here. So every Thursday, 8:30ish, we're here, and come join us again. I thoroughly enjoyed your conversation.
All right. So and so the question that I wanted you all to ask before
I think
before we go-
Maurice has something to say.
Yes.
He's been having his
Yeah, go
hand
ahead,
up
go ahead,
for,
Maurice.
has
Yeah,
something
for the
to
you
say.
past
waiting
hour and a
patiently.
half.
You was waiting patiently. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See,
Go
I
ahead,
had
bro.
to get
Go
some
ahead.
I had to get some advocates on this show, so you know people wouldn't forget about me. All right, yeah, let me
Oh,
rock.
okay.
Let me rock. You know, so I agree with the sentiment. I agree with the intentions of what was said, and honestly, I 98% agree with everything that Nuno said. He really hit it on the mark. But all that stuff is sentiment, and I'm a practical type of guy. You know, people take that and they interpret it however they want half the time. And how it gets interpreted a lot of times, it ends up in conflict. And like, oh, well, that's what I thought he was going to do. Well, that's what I thought she was going to do. So, like, the sentiment, the ideas, I'm down with. What I disagree with, again, is when it comes down to practicality. And the example I like to use is football defense. So, if you just give me a minute, I'm going to explain defense a little bit. Football defense is 3 lines of defense. You got the front line, you got the down line, the tackles, you got the secondary, and the secondary split into 2 spots, the D-backs and the linebackers. Now, everybody's got their role. The lineman is supposed to rush. The linebackers are supposed to read the play, run pass. And the D-backs are supposed to fill in if the linebackers can't stop the person. Now, if you got D-backs playing linebacker roles, they're going to collide. If you got D-backs playing lineman roles, they're going to collide. And if you want to call everybody playing their role 100%, fine. It just doesn't make sense. It's not very applicable. If you want to call everybody playing their role 200%, fine. It's just not very applicable. So this whole 100-100, 50-50, it's just not applicable when you're talking about making a solid system. When you're making a solid system, what ends up happening is, did you stop the play? Then you say success. And then you can analyze, you know what? I screwed up in this area. You screwed up in that area. How can we make it better? And it's a system that creates a sense of growth. And everybody constantly holding each other accountable and slowly growing and building that defense, because the offense is going to change. The life circumstances in your life are going to change and how it's going to come and attack at you. So you gotta adjust accordingly. So that means when your lineman's leg is hurting, the linebackers got to pick it up. When the linebackers are slacking to one side and they're making errors, the D-backs got to pick it up. And this is how it works. That's how partnership works. That's how teams work. So I don't like this arbitrary 100, 100, 200, whatever.
What is your number?
But that's
What
not
is
what
your
he
number?
was saying.
Hold on.
What is your number?
What do you mean? I just said I don't like the concept altogether. There is no number.
Oh, you don't like the concept of a number?
No.
Hold on.
I think what I said was pretty much the same thing you said, but in a different way.
That's what I
said.
remember.
What I said is that certain roles are interchangeable, right? The same way you said, like, certain things you might end up having, like, the person might end up being sick, and you have to take on the slack. Like, for example, for me personally, it's just like there are certain things I want my wife to know how to do, even if it's my job. I want her to still know how to do it, because if I'm not there, I want her to be able to do it.
See, all right, you started off with the word interchangeable. Interchangeable, literally, the word means it doesn't matter who does it. Interchangeable, literally, that's what it means.
Role, not really. All of them.
Hold on.
Sometimes you can switch roles, you know.
Hold on. The word interchangeable.
As it fits.
Hold on. The word interchangeable literally means it doesn't matter who does it. If you do it, I can do it. Interchangeable means this piece or this piece. It doesn't matter. You can switch them, use any which one. So that's why I have a problem with that word. It's not appropriate.
Hold on. Because here's the thing. Let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this. Because what Maurice will do is he'll latch onto a word and he won't let it go.
Right.
I know. I know my brother very well.
Let me make sure I provide some clarity.
Are you saying that he's listening selectively?
Let me make sure I provide some clarity with this 100 thing. 100 means effort. 100. Right. Now you gave the example of the defense. Do you expect every single part of that defense to perform at 100% when they go on that field? Yes. The answer is yes. I'm not gonna wait for you to answer. The answer is yes. You don't want nobody.
They got him. Got him.
You don't want anybody to go on that field and half-ass it. You don't want anybody on your team that's going to half-ass it if they're on that team. You want them to perform 100%. Now, in their role, they are to perform 100%.
100%. Thank you.
You're talking about a relationship. You're talking about giving 100% effort. If I'm trying to outdo my lady, doing for each other, if we're outdoing, if we're 100% trying to do for each other, guess what? We have both what we need and what we want. That's how you're supposed to work a partnership, and you're both supposed to counterbalance each other. You're both supposed to be interdependent. So
I think he's getting it now.
You're talking about 100% effort in whatever your capacity is. We're not talking about equality. We're talking about effort.
Efforts, yes. Thank you.
That's it.
All right.
I was gonna say the same. Hold on, no, my turn. Now my turn. I was gonna say the same thing.
You see how they beat up on me out here?
The 100 is about effort. Just like I made the example. Do I like how Billy cleans? Does he clean like I do? No. But if he does it,
exact. That's it.
If he does it, yeah, thank you, baby. I appreciate you. I might not be able to cut the grass like he does, or I might not be able to fix something like he does. But if I do the effort to fix it, he's gonna be like, "Thank you, baby." That's the 100. It's the
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
I can see it in his shoulders. I don't even see it in his face. I see it in his shoulders. His shoulders are tense.
He's leaning forward.
Say so bad.
He's leaning forward. He's like, "I've got you."
No, check it. Listen, I was gonna say. What I want to say is that Dedrick said it exactly like it needed to be said. That 100%. The only place it applies is in the effort, and I'm down with it.
I think that's what we've been saying, my brother.
Come on.
Right.
Okay, so if you really remember what I said, let me put it plainly. No, you just said what you gotta say. Let me say it now.
No. Can I?
No, I'm not done. Let me finish.
At least.
Listen.
He's been quiet.
So now, the same way that I said, my 80%. I know you were. And we appreciate that. Go ahead. But what I'm saying to you is the same way I said to somebody, my 100% might look like a 20%, but it's the effort that I put behind it that matters, right? My 80% my 100% might look like an 80%, but it's the effort that I put behind it. Maybe you would have done it differently, but to me, that's 100% I'm giving you. You see what I mean? That's what I was trying to say to you earlier, but I think you cut on to just one word, like my brother said, and you ran with it.
No. So. It's all about clarity, my friend. Always about clarity, because you have to understand. Like, okay, if there's any level of obfuscation, people will take it and they'll interpret it. Remember, that was my original argument.
Yeah, we said that earlier.
I know there's a reason I said it first, is because that's the original argument. People are going to take it and they're going to interpret it the way they're going to. right? That's why we're having these conversations of 50-50 and 100-100, because people
Yes.
don't understand. They're applying it to something. Now, Dedrick made a very important statement when he said it's about effort. The number is about effort, not anything else. Because people will look at that 150, whatever number you want to say. Look, I'm doing all of this. This is 100 or 50 or whatever. He's only doing, or she's only doing this, which is only like 20% of what I think is the 100%, whatever that arbitrary number is in their head. But if you're just talking about yourself, what am I giving? I'm bringing 100% to the table. Effort. Whatever. The same thing with the other partner. What am I giving? I'm giving 100% myself to the effort. It doesn't mean it's going to be completed to a certain level of what 100% should be, but the effort is there. The intention is there.
I almost thought you didn't like numbers.
No, come on.
But here's the thing. Okay, can I give an example?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like for the last Momo's almost 5. For the 2 new guests, Momo is my daughter, and I've been home for like 5 years with my daughter. Now she's in pre-K, but I still have to be home to put her on the bus, get her off, and all this other good stuff. And so 100% of the bill paying is my husband, right? And I'll say that like 95% of the domestic duties fall upon me. I do them because see, I knew he would say that. But this is hold on, listen, hear me out. Shit.
Go ahead.
So, for example, when he comes home, he doesn't just flop on the couch and say, "Oh, I worked all day, I pay all the bills, I don't have to do anything else." If he sees me carrying laundry, he's gonna take the laundry basket from me. If the boys want to go fishing, he's gonna take the boys fishing. If Momo wants to go to the park, he's gonna take Momo to the park. For one, because he wants to spend time with his children, but for two, it's like my wife, just because she's a stay-at-home mother, doesn't mean that she's not tired too. Doesn't mean that she didn't work all day. You know what I mean? And some people take advantage of that, where all you do is sit at home and you. Now I do the damn thing. Like I said, I cut grass, I do all that stuff. So it's like when. Again, it goes back to the 100. Like wherever you're slipping, or like he said, matter of fact, better yet, the 80-20. So some days you might get 20% of me, right? Some days I don't feel like doing nothing, I'll make dinner, and that's all you're getting. And I'll fold the laundry tomorrow.
What did you say?
Doing it today.
I'm in the bathroom.
NSC, mute NSC.
No, I was saying like the 80-20 thing. Like, he says some days you'll get 80%, some days you'll get 20%, some days you'll get 70%, some days you'll get 30%. And that should be okay. But at the end of the day, if you come together with that 70-30 or the 80-20 or hell 60-40, you still come up with 100-100 because y'all doing what y'all got to do to run your household and to raise your family and to do what you got to do. I mean, that just makes sense to me. And it's not necessarily gender roles per se.
See,
but
this is
it is gender roles per se, because again, me being a stay-at-home mother, when my husband comes home, dinner is ready. I start cooking at 2:00 because I know the man walking in at 4:30. I make sure the house is clean, things like that. And then I have a honey-do list. Like, okay, well, I need you to fix this. And the last time you washed the car was there. And then I get my boys and I'm like, okay, boys, I need y'all to go out and cut the grass or whatever. So it's just like a nuclear family. It's an event where everybody's giving 100%.
See, I was rocking.
Can I say something, if I may?
Sure.
I just want to say this one piece and then I'll let you
go ahead.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
I'm just saying, I was rocking with you until you said gender roles. It's not really about gender roles. Of course, it's about gender roles. You can't. It has to be about gender roles, or else we end up with this word interchangeable. right?
No, but no. I'm gonna disagree because I've changed the oil in my car. I've changed the alternator in my car.
Is that your role?
No, it doesn't matter if it's my role. It needed to get done.
That's my problem.
It needed to get done. It needed to get done.
Okay, but it's not your role.
Hold on, wait, no. If he's at work until 7:30 and I see the grass is above my ankle.
Do I have to go back to my football thing?
Please don't. Please don't.
Okay.
If I see the grass is above my ankles,
be next, but you know.
Give me 1 second, sweetheart, and I'll let you talk.
No, she lied. It's gonna be more like 20 seconds. Go ahead.
If I see the grass is above my ankles, but I know my husband ain't getting home till 7:30 and it's gonna be dark and he's not gonna be able to cut grass, should I cut the grass or not?
Well, you're not gonna like. You're not going to like what I am about to say.
No, Nuno, rock,
if I may have
Nuno, rock.
Stop instigating. Stop instigating.
Nah, come on.
So let
rock.
me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nuno. You got the floor.
I'll try to be quick. You know, in my experience in my life, I've been around a lot of old people. I'm talking about like 60, 70, 80 years old fellas, men and women. And if in my experience in my life, one thing I have learned is that complaining is the worst thing a man can do, or a woman. Who cares about the grass outside? Or who cares about the plant that didn't grow? Or the animal that wasn't fed, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing is family, life. So if the man and the woman are bickering at each other, oh, honey, you haven't done this, or baby, you didn't do this. No, this is not good. As a matter of fact, there's even a verse in the Bible that says that God doesn't even like people that complain, right? And if you were an old man or old woman, half of the things you concern yourself with today while you're young, it wouldn't even come to your mind, bro. It wouldn't even come to your mind. The most important thing in life, I'm not saying to be soft and for people and be very, charity like, because you have to tell people, you have to tell them, get yourself right, okay? But complaining about little mundane, trivial things is a foolish thing. And that's something that if we cut it off, greater conversations will come up.
Well, in fairness, I was speaking for my husband. I know how my husband is about the grass.
I apologize if it came out that way, but I was going with
No, I appreciate your feedback. I'm just saying, in fairness, I know how my husband is. So let's say he comes home at 7:30. He's worked from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. He would literally, if he looks outside and he sees the grass needs to be cut, he would cut the grass. Even though he's worked from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
That's a good man.
Yeah, he is. And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I actually love. I'm the daughter of a single father. So guess who cut the grass when they was younger? Me. So I'm used to yard work. It doesn't bother me. I hunt, I fish, I do all those things. So those types of things don't bother me. So if I look outside and I'm like, oh, your dad's gonna want to cut grass when he comes home. Okay, hey boys. You weedy, you do this. I'm gonna cut the front yard and you cut the backyard. So that way when dad comes home,
a question?
He doesn't have to do that. Because he shouldn't have to do that because he goes to work all day from 7:30 to 7:30 and he pays all the bills, and he gives us everything we need and everything we want. That's the least we can do for him.
Mrs. Fields, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that there are tasks that a woman should do and there's a task that a man should do?
I was gonna ask that question, but you took it from me.
I do.
My teammates.
I believe. I
They're coming.
believe. Hold on, Maurice. Be
You
quiet.
said my teammates.
I
coming.
believe in gender roles. I am a traditional woman.
All right.
I stayed home with my children to raise them when I gave birth to them.
Say
I
it
cook,
again.
I clean, I do all of those things.
Yes,
I gave
ma'am.
up everything to do those things because I married that man. I made the decision to marry him, and I made the decision to have children with him.
And
So
that's why we
then
love
it
you.
became
Yep.
my priority to make them my priority.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
there's a reason I
Now,
asked that
hold on.
question.
Now,
Go
hold
ahead.
on, real quick. Oh, real quick. I'm gonna add this in before you ask your question. Now, if he want to cook breakfast on Saturday, I'm gonna let him cook breakfast on Saturday. In other words, yes, normally the woman would be the cook, the cleaner, whatever. But if you want to cook breakfast, yeah, cook breakfast, baby. Matter of fact, he know my favorite is his fried potatoes. They the best. Oh my God, he makes the best fried potatoes. But anyways,
Yeah, but there's a reason I said this because I think some women, okay, not all,
Not all.
um,
Not all.
they tend to try to protect the man and then trying to do certain things that the man should do. You know, and I think it's very dangerous for a man for him to allow this in his home because then the things that because the thing is for a man to become a man, we become men by trial and tribulation. What I mean by that is like trauma. You know, it hardens a man and it makes a man a man.
Oh, she's not gonna like this. She's not gonna like this.
All right. So although I understand the tendency for a woman to want to protect the man, but certain things that a man has to go through, otherwise, how else would he become a man? You see what I'm coming from? Because the men are built differently than women do.
Let me see.
We are naturally protector, provider, you know, and the women also are protectors, but protectors of the children, right? So if you're gonna start protecting your husband as if he was a child,
No problem. Problems.
that gonna become an issue,
Problems. Yeah.
right? That's gonna become an issue in itself. And that's why a lot of times as people we think that we're doing a good thing by protecting this individual when in fact we need to allow this individual to go through it for him to experience certain things for him to become more of a man that he was meant to be. I don't know if you catch my drift here.
no, I actually do. Maurice is the only one saying I'm gonna disagree, but I actually agree with you with that.
Nah, see, she okay.
No, because
she
of the way,
disagrees.
no,
She
because
disagrees
of the way
with it
that
because it came out of my mouth. I
no,
promise you, I'm saying
it
the
is
same
the way that
she won't even
he-
let me say it. Like it's the way I say the same exact things, and she be getting
You
all,
did
all
not.
over. Dedrick. How many times I've said stuff like that? Dedrick, come on, Jack. Don't leave me hanging, Dedrick. You're my only
wait.
witness here, Dedrick.
And how many
come on.
times have I disagreed with you? Sorry, I had to plug my phone up.
There's no love here.
No, it's the way that he. No, hold on. Let me respond to that. It is the way that he presented it. You are right. It's like what's
it's triggered.
No, I'm not. Shut up. It's like a rite of
Why
passage.
you gaslighting,
Yes.
Maurice? You gaslighting, man.
No, come on.
It's
go
like
ahead.
no. Can I talk?
Go ahead.
It's like a rite of passage. That's how I took his way of presenting what he presented. You just be like women, feminists, and you just be all over the place. He presented it in a way that I could understand and that I can actually agree with. because yes, men have to go through certain things. Whether it's young men, older men, they have to go through certain things to become men. I get that. I'm not coddling my husband. My husband is my husband. That's why he's my husband. I'm not picking a man I got to coddle. Not doing it. I don't need to do that. But again, he presented it in a different way that you presented. And that is why I could agree with him with what he said.
I'm gonna say what she said in a real short way.
Oh God!
It's not what he said; it's how he said it.
No, it's how he. No. There's a difference between presenting a case and saying what you want to say. A lot of times, you like to present this feminist, women bad, single mamas, all this other stuff, instead of talking about everything else. And he actually included the entire package into what he was saying. And that is why I can agree with him.
All right, just say you liked his package. You didn't like how I wrapped my gift. That
didn't even sound right, though. Like, why would you even say it like that?
On that note,
that's like... Why would you even say it like that, though?
You know what talking about packages is?
No, because this ain't Amazon, damn it. The fuck?
I have a question for the lady right here.
New York, go ahead, ask Jessica so we can go ahead and close this out.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you, my brother. No gaslighting is allowed, right?
Hey.
Especially with the woman, you don't want to do that, brother.
I'm innocent.
That's a deep pit.
I'm innocent. I promise.
So I'm gonna ask this question to the lady because she's the only one that's here. My question is, what do you think is the purpose of a woman?
My purpose was
in your experience in life, and based on your understanding and experience, and the things that you've learned. What do you think a woman's purpose is?
Well, my purpose as a woman was to find a great husband and to make some beautiful babies.
Hold on, my bad. I gotta cut you off. You said to find. So yes, I have a little bit of problem with that because I have to speak to you from a biblical perspective. If we analyze how the first woman found a man, she didn't have anything to do with it. Neither did the man have anything to do with it either, right? The Bible teaches us that God made man, put them to sleep, took a rib, made a woman, and then brought her to the man. So the woman didn't really have anything to do with finding a man. God is the one who presented to her opposite or her counterpart, right? And as it is written, when the man seen the woman, he said, "Whoa, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh." Now, what did the woman say? The Bible doesn't teach us too much of what the woman said, but we can tell for sure that the man was excited and very happy, right? So, with all of that in context, I ask you, because you are a woman, I'm not, why do you think God made a woman for the man, and what is the purpose for the woman?
Well, I would respond to you in the aspect of that. Me and you do not follow the same beliefs.
That's okay.
So
that's not right. It's okay.
I can't speak to how you believe.
But based on your understanding, why do you think why do you think women exist?
Again, that's a rabbit hole that we don't have time for today.
I got you.
It's a rabbit hole we don't have time for today.
To make babies,
that's unfortunate, because it's one thing that you guys are very good at is reproducing.
Yeah, that's creation. Creation.
If a
But
man,
no,
if a
okay, but
man,
no.
if a man, if a man
But
meets
hold
you,
on. Can we
if
create
a man
without
meets
you?
you and he
Can we
loves you
create
and
without
he will
you?
give you his seed, you will
We
give
can't
birth
create without you, though,
to a
right?
child
So
that
what was your creation for then?
to serve God.
So your creation wasn't to reproduce?
I think I
So
had
is it only wait?
No,
No, no,
hold
no,
on,
no,
don't
no,
cut
no,
her
no.
off. Let her go. Let her go. Don't cut her off. Go ahead.
Is you're a man?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot reproduce without you, correct?
Yes.
So what is your purpose?
Well, my purpose, right? I just told you, and I will say it again: to serve God and glorify Him. Now,
So
a
creation
man.
has
Hold on,
nothing
hold on.
to
Let
do
me
with that.
finish. You
Hold
gotta
on,
let me
because
finish. You
hold
gotta let
on.
me
No,
finish
no,
now.
no. Time out.
You gotta let
No,
me finish,
time out.
sister.
Time out.
A
Time
man
out.
without a woman is incomplete.
Okay. I cannot carry a life inside my body without a man.
That's right.
So
Okay, so
who?
can I
Wait,
interject real
wait.
quick? Just give me 1
So
second.
wait. Let me
1 second.
ask this question.
Let her
So
finish.
who, in
Let her
fact,
speak.
was the original person to be the part of creation? Because I can't carry a life
No,
without
no,
your
I don't
sperm.
understand your question. Say that one more time.
So you're saying that a woman's primary thing is to create life,
No, I
to
didn't. I
give
did
birth.
not say that.
I mean
I did
that
not say
was
that.
kind of the
You was
premise.
having a
It
hard
was the
time.
premise.
You was having
It
a
was
hard
the
time
premise.
explaining the role of a woman and why she was created. And I asked you. I thought you would have an answer, but
Matter of fact, it was
I
Maurice
gave you.
that said, you know
I
what?
gave
I
you a little bit of
apologize.
help
Hold on. I
because
apologize.
one
It was
thing that
actually
woman could
Maurice that
do
said it.
is reproduce, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I apologize to you because it was actually Maurice that said it, to reproduce. So I asked the
No, I
question.
said make babies.
Make babies.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's true.
here's the
If
thing.
you're gonna
Maurice
quote me,
Do
said.
we
quote me correctly.
we don't make babies. I don't make a baby.
We
I
make
don't
a
make a
baby.
baby. I
Hold
carry
on.
it.
Okay.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Cook,
You are
cook
absolutely
baby.
correct.
You
You don't
make
make
the
no
baby.
baby. You don't make no baby. That's right.
Cook the baby.
You know,
It's a
I've
fact.
never heard a
I
woman
can't
say
make a
that
baby.
before in my whole
I
life.
can't go and
Usually,
scissor a woman and have an orgasm and make a baby. It takes
let
a
me
man to insert
let me
his
say this. Let
penis
me
in
say
me
this. Let me say this.
and ejaculate in me before I
Damn.
can carry a child.
They
So
put a
who
black-
are the real
A
creators?
little bit graphic now, but
little bit
let
big
me
What? We
say this.
all
Let me say
grown.
this. Let me
This
say
is
this.
grown.
I've never heard a woman before say that she doesn't make babies because usually they be saying the baby's
All
mine.
right.
Let me update my
If
quote.
I
No,
may
let me finish.
interject
Let me just
Usually,
update my
for a
quote.
usually they
second.
say the baby's mine. I'm the one that carried the baby for 9 months, right?
Let me update my quote.
So the one that makes the baby is God Himself.
All right. May I say something real
He's the
quick?
one that designs the baby in the woman's
All right.
womb
So when we
through
talking
the
about
means of the man
purpose,
and the
right?
woman's relationship through marriage.
Are you guys with me?
Go ahead.
You guys with me?
Yeah, man.
All right. So when we're talking about purpose, they are primary, secondary, and tertiary, right?
Oh man, come on.
Are you guys with me?
You're stealing my lines. Come on.
Okay.
To my
So
bars.
when you said what is your purpose, it's kind of broad. It's very broad. It's broad in a sense where you're not being very specific about what you're saying.
Well,
You have to give a example as far as to in which tier that you asking this question,
I tried. Ask me
right?
what my purpose is, however broad it may be. I have an answer for you.
What is your purpose, my?
Okay. To serve the Lord with all my heart, with all my might, with all my strength, with all my heart, and with all my soul. Right? Whatsoever a man put his hands to do, he must do it with all his might. That's my purpose, buddy. Now, if I choose to be your friend, I have to be your friend to the fullest. If I go and get a job somewhere, I have to perform the best that I can ever do. If I choose to be a nigga who sweep the floor, I have to sweep the floor in a way that nobody has ever done it before. That's my purpose. My purpose is to be the best that I could be. Not for myself, but for God.
Yeah,
That's what I believe.
we better put a pin in this one, man, for that.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
should.
We gotta go. So thank you guys for really coming to the stage, and I hope this is not the last time, because we're gonna we're gonna dive into some more of this at a later, probably next week. We're gonna explore some more next week about some of the things we were talking about, because my man was talking about financial literacy. We were talking about men and women and stuff like that. So we're gonna really dive into some more things next week, and hopefully you guys can make it next week as well. So just get some. We're gonna have to find some other ladies, because we can't.
You can't keep beating up on me.
We got a lot of testosterone up in here, so we gotta get some. We gotta get some ladies in here too. So we'll work on that part of it. But thank you guys.
Dedrick, don't forget about your last question.
Right now we can, because what I was about to ask y'all, the question I was going to ask y'all, what's your definition of what submission means? Because everybody doesn't know what submission means. So when a man says submit, it doesn't mean the same thing.
We're gonna be here for another hour.
Exactly.
No.
That's why
I want everybody to answer that. That's a very good question.
That's the reason why
we can do that next week. I got the perfect answer for you.
I have my answer.
You have an answer. I don't know if it's the perfect one. You're gonna have an answer. So we're gonna dive into that.
I said that's the perfect question. Yeah, I only have one word for what you just said.
Yeah,
and that's but
I'm gonna leave myself for last.
Yeah,
this man right here, because he's been striving to talk for a long time.
Right. So thank you guys.
Maurice, let Maurice get a little word out.
No. And thank you guys for coming and stuff like that. It was a great show. I didn't expect it to go this long, but we're gonna jump back on it next week. So I hope I see you guys next week. I'll make sure the link is out in good enough time so we can all just have a good time and discuss the things we need to discuss. Okay, so thank you guys.
I appreciate the invitation, Dedrick and Maurice. You guys are a great bunch, and I hope to see you guys next week.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Nuno, for coming through. Nuno.
Yo, Anderson, you forgot Miss Fields, bro. Come on, man. Don't disrespect her like that.
I didn't forget her.
Don't be trying to get brownie points. Don't be trying to get brownie points.
Come on, man.
I think she was the best part of the show.
I'm telling you,
she was the best part of the show. I gotta admit, and I love everything she had to say.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Like
we'll see you Thursday.
So he gets thank yous. Dedrick said, "I'm pulling this goddamn."
Is that right? I say he cut their ass off.
Cut me off, bitch.